Hello, everybody. Welcome to twitch.tv/The Onyx Path, where today we have gathered to play The World Below. It's been a minute. We've taken a little bit of downtime, but we have returned in full force to dive right back into Delve and Dig with session 5, I do believe, our first expression of Kalm. Very much looking forward to exploring this aspect of the game tonight, and hope you will enjoy as we do. Before we dive in too far, I do want to remind you, of course, we are playing The World Below, and The World Below is available over on BackerKit for pre-order. The crowdfunding campaign was successful, but you can now pre-order print copies or PDFs there. I believe when you pre-order, you also will get access to the manuscript to run it that way. Speaking of backer kits, we are currently crowdfunding the next game in the Earthbane cycle. It's in a shared universe with The World Below called At the Gates. In case you've missed any information about it, At the Gates is a JRPG-inspired role-playing game, which also uses StoryPath Ultra. It is in the same, as I said, universe as The World Below, and I believe if you look through the manuscript, you can start to see some of the connective tissues, which if you go and back it now, you'll have access to most of the manuscript, I think, right away. And there are a couple of updates still yet to come. There's about 7 days left in that BackerKit campaign, so we would love to have you aboard. Last couple things I want to make you aware of. I had the extreme honor and pleasure of developing a new offering over at the StoryPath Nexus called Bloody Burrows, which is a release for Trinity Continuum Assassins focused on the city of New York. It talks about the 5 boroughs in detail, the various assassin societies within, gives you some sample black boxes, and enough information that you can not only run games in New York City, but you can use that to build your own StoryPath Nexus content set in New York City, which is handy because Assassins and Adventure have both been unlocked over at the Nexus. You can get the art packs and the layout templates and all that good stuff over at StoryPath Nexus and make your own content for Assassins and Adventure. I intend to start doing that myself just as soon as we're done with Onyx PathCon, because I'm going to be a little busy between now and then, which is, of course, June 14th through 16th. You want to be here. There's a lot of cool stuff happening. Check out the Monday meeting notes. There you'll see the schedules there. And I think if you go over to our YouTube, there's a video that might be of interest to you as well about Onyx PathCon. So, having said all that, that is the bills paid. So, let's go ahead and meet our cast. Let's start it off this time with Kevin. Please tell us who you are, what you do, who you are playing, your pronouns, their pronouns, and anything you would like to promote.
Hi, I'm Kevin Zarnicki, he, him, playing Kale Zool, also he, him, though he thinks of himself more corpse-like anyway, so who cares? Yeah, I'm a game designer, a voice actor, a tutor, a bunch of different things. Contact me at kevin.r.zarnicki with mentioning the world below, the world beneath, the world. Which one is it, Travis?
Below.
I feel like
it's below.
The world below. And I'll throw a big old sale on there for you because I support this channel and I support Travis and I like Onyx Path, except for Abandoning Chronicles. I am so salty. Anyway,
I would believe that would be a discussion that would be more befitting for Paradox, because that is not our choice.
Oh, I know. I'm just salty. Anyway, Kale Zool is kind of for all you D&D kids, he's like a elf necromancer. Let's put it that way. In the old school sense of necromancy doesn't mean zombies, it means ghosts. So, yeah, I'm just loving the
study of death.
Yeah, and the communication with the dead.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you get
it. Necromancy
Cal.
used to be the healing school in AD&D.
It was, and I always loved that about it. And now they don't, and now I'm angry. And I'm going to stop there because I'm just going to talk about me, and this is about us.
Beautiful.
Who's next?
On that bright, shiny note, next up in the order would be Haley. Please, if you would, please tell us who you are, what you do, who you're playing, your pronouns, their pronouns, and anything you would like to promote.
Hi everyone, my name's Haley, also known as Babe_Blade666. I'm playing Stropharia. She is an elven, mushroomy cleric priestess, and her pronouns and my pronouns are she, her. I don't really have much to promote. I'm pretty casual these days, so I'm pretty much just doing this.
Well, we appreciate you coming out of semi-retirement to come and sit at the table. It's always a joy to share a screen with you. Speaking of people, it's always a joy to share a screen with Crow. If you could, please tell us your pertinence.
Hi, I'm Crow. I play Salvo. Both of us are key it in some form of capacity, especially Salvo. Uh, Basically, I am playing an elven eldritch archer mage.
That's a tongue twister, bro.
Yeah,
But accurate.
but accurate.
True.
Yeah. When I am not doing a bunch of Zoom meetings for corporations and politics, because I've become part of this system, I like to play different TTRPGs. I'm also semi-retired, but I do like playing with Paradox and friends, so I come here whenever Travis asks.
You're the sweetest.
back to you.
I appreciate you.
Unspoken contract from the old days.
Right,
Means
yeah.
that he
Pretty
must be
much.
summoned.
Written
Right.
in unspeakable ichors.
We've no choice. No, and even if I did, I would. You'd be my first. Thank you so much
fell providence.
for being here. It's always a pleasure to have you aboard. And speaking of pleasures, Cal, your pertinence, please.
Hello, everyone. My name is Cal. I'm usually Neo Cal on the TikToks and the Twitch and all the other things. Really liked The Matrix. So, can you tell? Geez, what about me? I don't know. I had a reboot podcast, so that was fun. I still have a Beast Wars podcast. It's like 150 episodes coming up near. Maybe one day that will mercifully end. The Lasercomb podcast, where patrons and the hosts, myself and Christopher Siege, watch a random episode from something the patrons choose or that we choose. And then it's usually any show that's not like a game show or reality TV show that's ended. Has to be something that's like ended. So we've gotten shows from like the 70s.
Nice.
The biggest one for some weird reason is Manimal, which I didn't know was a show until
Wild.
a patron asked us to watch that. And yeah,
That's
that was,
early '80s, right? That's like that was about the same time as Automan, I believe.
that was wild and fun. And to most things that we hate, there's a lot of there's a lot of bad in that, but it's fun.
Surprisingly enough, for an art form that's been around 80 years, there's a lot of bad television.
Who would have thought? And so if you want to torture a review out of what we watch, the Lasercomb podcast. Too Much Energon is the Beast Wars podcast.
Excellent.
And other than that, other than showing up on the Onyx Path, I'm going to be, OPP Con is coming up.
Yeah.
I'm going to be running, They Came From Beyond the Grave. Going for good old-fashioned, classic, zombie kind of thing. But like...
Coming to get you, Barbara.
The vibe that I'm going to go for on my game, if you tune in for that, is going to be the return of the Living Dead.
Nice.
The one with the punks and the graveyard, and that's my favorite
cinema.
zombie movie.
Fine cinema.
The
Fun
one
fact.
your kids cannot watch.
Two fun facts. One, you can actually pick up a scenario on the StoryPath Nexus that is Night of the Living Dead, thanks to George Romero's production company neglectfully failing to put their copyright notice on the film. Night of the Living Dead is in the public domain. So
I did I did not know
Yeah,
that.
absolutely is. Yeah, 100%.
Bless them.
Second
Question
fun fact about that: Return of the Living Dead was produced by George Romero's production partner on Night of the Living Dead. He wanted to make a sequel. George Romero didn't want to make that sequel. He wanted to make Dawn of the Dead, and so that's where the timelines shift. But they are both sequels to Night of the Living Dead.
Yep.
Well-
and that's why Living Dead is in one of the series and the other one is Of the Dead.
Yeah,
Is that true?
I
Yeah.
believe that was how
Absolutely.
they decided to.
Wow.
Oh, today I learned.
Yeah,
That's why Return of the Living Dead has that guy in the beginning talking about Night of the Living Dead was a documentary about it, about something that really happened.
Oh.
So they're both technically from the same DNA, but one of them treats it like a legend and the other treats it as this is going down.
right.
So
Okay.
I like
You know.
that.
Oh,
Good
Yeah.
stuff. Good
I
stuff.
like it. Zombies are allowed to talk. Dang it. And they're
Hey.
allowed to plead their case and say, just give me a little nibble.
Just a little
I mean-
nibble.
Give me some brains.
I mean, as of Land of the Dead, they can talk too, more or less.
Sorta.
And Day of the Dead, Bub, bless Bub.
Yeah,
Salute Bub, Saint
Um,
Bub. I do have something to pitch or to pimp. By the way, I just
Oh,
got a
by all means.
note from my line dev. On a personal note, I just finished my section for the Voltron RPG coming
Woo!
out in the near future. So if you've it's Legendary Defender, the Netflix one. There's so much I want to say that's both good and bad about that show, but it's not my place to do it on the air. Suffice it to say, I see from your laughter, you'll know what I'm talking about too. Yeah, so keep an eye open for that. And just yesterday, a new Shadowrun book dropped called Final Bets, a campaign book attached to the Needle's Eye book that came out. It's about the latest Grand Tour. If you're familiar with the globe-trotting rich people circuit and all the things that hired corporate mercenary terrorists could get up to in making the most of that. I had a piece of Needle's Eye. I can't remember if I worked on Final Bets, but I can tell you it was a lot of fun. So if you're into Shadowrun, look for it. It just dropped. So fresh off the press and all that.
We keep your eyes peeled for those folks.
And now I could tell RJ I have fulfilled my filial obligations insofar as the company goes. Yes, I said filial. I know what it means.
Nice. All right. Speaking of obligation, let us dive right back to our characters who we've left hanging this last month. Actually, we left them in a fairly decent place. You had just shored up your newborn settlement after delving and exploring into the world below, running across some of its denizens, discovering the ruins of a former temple of the Vrat. You decided that was probably the safest place to hunker down as the Kalm began to rage outside your settlement. You were able to take some of this miraculous metal that your traveling companion Althana has created. This labyrinth, Athlana, forgive me if I mispronounced that, has created. The metal is called Labyrinth, and you have made a door basically over your largest entryway and then sealed the gap into the smaller entryway, theoretically keeping you safe for the duration of the calm. However, today we're going to dive into what exactly that means and what exactly the calm phase of the game entails. So the World Below's glossary defines calm as a season where the World Below's inhabitants prefer to retreat into their settlements, keep their families safe, and nurse wounds from a long period of adventuring. Despite the name, calm is a period where the world below turns intensely hostile to its inhabitants. Most sensible adventurers return to places of sanctuary to build fortifications, politic, plan the seasons ahead, and hope to survive the calm. Mechanically, the calm phase of gameplay is when players may expend experience on character advancement, and Kalm is also the name of a popular game in the world below in which people use leather cards or clay tablets to build a make-believe settlement and go foraging for resources before trying to survive an onslaught during the game's Kalm phase. So it's also a TTRPG inside the world below.
I was gonna say, is Onyx Path going to release Calm, the game for Calm? Is this like
you never know? Spaceballs the flamethrower. Yeah, I mean it's
yeah.
not,
Is this Gwent? Are you Gwenting me?
you may get Gwented. We'll see.
Oh, I completely forgot. I'm playing Bunga.
Oh yeah, you are
With
playing
the-
Bunga.
Right.
He's a hobgob. He's big. He's smash.
He's what he sounds like.
Yes, an aptly named character to say the least.
So much less complicated than our elf, wizard, priest, mushroom, assassin wizards of the group. He's Unga. He's Bunga. He's a hob. What more do you want?
Precisely that.
He has a very particular set of skills.
3 Lord of the Rings characters and 1 Warhammer character.
Yeah.
I like it.
So, the first thing we need to do, because this is a settlement focused thing, and because you have just built your settlement, you have a little baby settlement, we need to build that settlement. The world below provides many things, but among them, a template for settlements. So your settlements.
What's the long short of what Bunga miss?
Oh, so yeah, you weren't there for the last session. You all made your way into the Vrat Temple, or the ruins of the Vrat Temple, cleared it out after facing a few of the indigenous life forms. And imagine I said that like Ricardo Montalban in Wrath of Khan, because it was very similar to that. And then managed to seal off the temple ruin to found the settlement and to wait out the call. So it was really just getting there, cleaning the place out, making sure it was safe enough anyway, and getting things set up. Most of the time,
Okay.
Bunga was helping move rocks for the most part. And I think
Like
stomping
Ludo.
out, yeah, like Ludo.
From the Labyrinth.
Exactly,
Yeah.
except you weren't using your mouth, you were just using your arms. You might have been using your mouth too, but definitely.
If you yell hard enough,
right,
the rocks move.
The rocks will move.
Hey, is that actually a sorcery or?
There's, I'm sure,
You're
must be,
thinking
right?
of Dune, buddy.
I'm
You're
sure
thinking
there-
of David Lynch's Dune.
I'm sure there probably is a sorcery that lets you do that. We'll have to dig for it. But in the interim, our first thing to check is if the settlement has achieved its last calm aspiration. Well, settlement didn't exist before now, so no, it has not. So you get to determine a calm aspiration. This would be the thing that your settlement would like to accomplish before the next calm phase. Do you have any ideas of what you would like to do, or would you like to stat out your settlement and then figure out what our aspiration is?
I feel like stats will give us a framework
Sure.
to build on. I mean, that's just me. What does everybody think?
That's usually how I see mechanically how things work, and then I decide the story.
Well, it's disappointing if the stats can't back up a cool story. And who wants to set yourself up for disappointment?
Right? Yeah. Wait a second. My character was cooler than this.
Right.
I don't have enough dots to be as cool as I wanted.
Okay.
Why
well,
I can't play D&D.
well, the first thing that the settlement template requests of us is to determine our drive. What is the core thing this settlement wants to? What do they want over in a grand scheme in the long view? What would
Not
you
just
like
this
to
season.
see this? Right, yeah. The reason for being for the settlement. What's your pie in the sky goal?
Making the best weapons there are.
Okay.
I mean, it's.
Oh, interesting.
I mean, the seed of this
So attract
place.
people with industry and grow it.
Well,
that way?
It's not a big area, but it has exquisitely fertile soil. It has potential protein farms from the creepy grub things. It's got killer chaos chaotic resonances, or whatever the magic energy is. It's a great alignment for that. The one thing we don't have is space, and I don't know how much we can make the most out of that.
You can excavate.
Sure,
Like
but we have
any cavern can be made bigger eventually.
sure, but we have great choke points, and it's a pretty stable place. And I'm guessing the more you excavate, the less stable it becomes.
Kind of
So,
depends.
plus that's going to take more bodies and more time, which is not something we have a ton of. What we do have is all the raw material to make a really like diverse place, but it's built around the lady we brought here with her ability to make crazy super metal for tools, weapons, armor, you name it. And that's unique. Of all the things this place has going for it, she is the most unique part. And she wanted a place to be safe, a place to practice her trade. And this kind of material could revolutionize life for a lot of people in a lot of places. So I think that she's the star
You're right.
resource.
We need
And
to monetize it and hoard it and sell it to the highest bidder.
So capitalism is the reason.
or we could build alliances and trade agreements and whatnot. And on top of that, I mean, we have the ability to be self-sufficient with our food. And who knows what we could do if there's a way to inlay that chaos with her alloy. We could be making some of the top gear that is in the whole damn subterranean world.
So
Well-
we need to not become arms dealers.
I
I
think we
mean,
need to be
unless-
arms producers before we become dealers.
So
Out of character question, but in character,
sure.
like delving, those of you that have like super faithful or chaos worshiping or like whatever, how would your character, like how would they incorporate that?
I was gonna say, I think Stropharia would mostly focus on making it a community where people can come and feel safe. She wouldn't really care about the production of weapons, but she would want to like take this place from a place of rot to a place of worship for Golthon.
Okay. And
I don't know about worship, but I like refugees, and I like that we can give them safety by having well-armed and armored guards.
Yeah.
So if you want to make the population displaced people, I think that's wonderful.
what does if anything, how about you, Crow? What is your character seeking? What would you like to see the settlement focus on?
I think Salvo would actually try to figure out what his next move is, because originally the whole thing was like following down behind Kalzul and then ending up being like Storfarius, not bodyguard, but like backup, like but hired somewhat gun, if anything. So now it's more trying to figure out what the fuck do I do next? Because I was just migrating, and now there's a settlement here. So what do I do in all of this?
Sure.
So your character needs to like find what to live for, like what, because they've just been surviving.
Kind of, sort of. I mean, because his people's whole thing is like pilgrimage and like making stuff and moving forward, but there hasn't been like a basically like, and this whole divine thing is this.
Right.
So it hasn't been that for him.
Well, I would think then that Savo would empathize with the manufacturing goal.
Oh yeah.
So we can say in terms of drive, I think right now, the big things that we want are to establish a stable and growing settlement. Is that a fair way to kind of encompass those things
in the short
Yeah.
term?
and
In the
then
short term, yeah.
and then we'll start getting
The
into
base.
like our
Yeah, yeah.
specifics. So
Or the core or whatever it was called.
May I offer a compromise?
sure, what's up?
Well, I mean, this is going to show because this is what every game of Kenshi turns into for me. Incidentally, if you haven't played that, go play it. It's the best game ever made.
Kenshi?
Kenshi. It's like if an RTS and an RPG had a baby in a sword punk desert world. It's insane. I'm trying to contact the studio
That's
to get the
exactly
rights.
what it sounds like, by the way.
It's so good. I'm trying to contact Lo-Fi and see if they're open to making it a TTRPG because
And it's a game or an RPG?
it's a video game on computer. It's amazing. Anyway, so in that game, what I always end up doing is I just end up liberating slaves everywhere I see them, and there's a fair chance they'll join your party, which can be huge. Um, and so I end up building whole towns just to shelter all these talentless refugees who show up. And then I'm like, well, I can't just. I was trying to be a lone wanderer, but now I've got this whole damn town, and I've got to defend them from more slave raids or tax collectors or religious zealots or cannibals or whatever. It's a brutal game. And if that's what I'm doing, I always end up saying, well, now I've got to train them up so that they can take care of themselves. Well, now I got to equip them so that they can
now
take
I have
care
to
of
give them
themselves.
free education.
And now I have to
Now I
provide
need
them.
to.
Now they need food. Now they need this. And I end up being like, I've got a whole town. Damn
Mayor
it.
McMayerville.
I was
Of
trying to be
Mayerson.
I was trying to be a lone wanderer, and I always end up with a refugee city. If Stropharia has a steady supply of people who need a place to call home, and if I'm sorry, Crow, what's your character's name again?
Savo.
Savo, right? They're all good names. I just have a crap memory. And if Savo is looking for purpose, which is something that refugees are going to need, because once you stopped running, what do you do next? Then why don't we make this a place that does focus on making good equipment and shelter for people who need it and food and self-sufficiency, but it's a place for the lost to come, find their way, and go forth and be heroes. Oh God, now it's just Pathfinder. Anyway,
Nope, you've already said it.
I have a lost one. It's like my other side of my story where I'm looking for a guy that I like was with in the Crystal City. So a place where people come where they're lost would be great.
All right.
and my character's got the whole like, help those who are unspoken find their story, find their luck. So that fits into my thing. So I mean, if that works for, I don't know what Bunga wants other than shiny rock and eat, but all these things should bring lots of shiny rocks and eating. So does, I mean, if we've got primo equipment, then that's one step toward establishing the rest of it. So are we looking at building like a refugee training center? I don't know.
So what I've got, I think the way I've got this sort of summarized in our drive, our because the drive is kind of a thesis statement, right? So the way I've got this summarized at the moment is develop a stable and growing settlement built on Lebrant and on hospitality. In other words, it's a welcoming, safe place, and the foundation of your economy is this metal. Which I think then also has space for the personal interests, has space for, the setting up a spot for Golthon worship, setting up a spot for, the necromantic arts, setting up a spot where Savo can work on their craft. Things like building a gym for Bunga, I guess. So
I need Jim when pick up rock.
Right, exactly.
Break rock, good workout. Chunk, chunk.
So if you'll note in the Zoom chat, I just sent you all a list of specialties. These are the specialties that are available to settlements. Where these come into play is your settlement, much like a story guide character in Storypath Ultra, has a primary pool, a secondary pool, and a desperation pool. Your primary pool encompasses two of the things the settlement is particularly good at from the settlement specializations table. I would suggest, based on what we've discussed so far, that metalworking is probably a no-brainer answer, right?
Right.
But where else would we like to put our sort of main focus out of the list provided?
It sounds like
Well,
warm
warm-
welcome.
Yeah, that's what I was
Yeah.
gonna
Yeah.
say. Warm welcome.
Okay.
Because a theme when everyone was talking was kind of getting people to feel welcome and
safe.
grow the settlement.
Yeah. Rock and roll. All right.
Friend, your struggle is over.
Now we have a secondary pool, which is things that the settlement is good at, but not quite as good as their main foci. And those are also two of those things on the list. So is there anything that leaps out, Crow or Haley, for example, in terms of things that we haven't covered under the primary pool that you would like to focus attention on?
Medicine, maybe?
Medicine is handy, and the healing art is very in line with Golthan's teachings.
Chaos. No. It's just
Well, agriculture would make us more self-sufficient, but this place is basically a chaos well waiting to happen, right? Do you mind?
Yeah, the dog's got
Sorry,
opinions. It's all good.
She really just she's doing her big pit bull. Why aren't you petting me? You could be petting me. So yes, I see you.
what
Yeah.
a poor pup not getting
Poor pup.
pets.
I know.
It's the end of the world.
Tragic.
Oh yeah, Olivia's got a tough life with the blankets and the pillows and the treats.
So yeah,
and
what
the
do you
love.
think the secondary should be? Chaos mastery or agriculture?
I feel like we can trade for food.
I feel like Chaos Mastery would work, maybe because of where we are at, and also if we have other people who can possibly handle food and stuff like that, we could possibly kind of trade off stuff like that. So, Chaos. I think Chaos would work.
All right. No objections.
what do you
Chaos
reckon?
Mage?
Me? Oh,
Yeah.
I think Stropharia cares about chaos, but she doesn't consider her magic as chaos, so she's like, whatever. As long as I get the medicine.
Fair enough. So our selections then are primary pool of metalworking and warm welcome, and a secondary pool of chaos mastery and medicine. And I do believe, if I'm not mistaken, medicine and herbalism are a single entry. So that also can account for the
Good soil.
the arable land that you have, right? Because rather than just shifting that entirely to food production, you can shift it toward the creation and gathering of medicinal herbs and things along those lines.
Now, to be clear, does this mean that like the fishing from the stream nearby and food is that like completely off the table because we made our selections, or is it just
No.
not a place we?
These are like
great at?
specialties.
These are your
Yeah,
specialties, and these are determine the dice pool that you use if the action is required. So in this case, if you're using metalworking or warm welcome, anything that would apply to those, you'll have 8 dice. Anything that will apply to chaos mastery or medicine herbalism, you have 6 dice. And anything else falls under the desperation pool of the settlement, which is at 4 dice. Specialists, you have a +1 enhancement to a task based on the presence of trained specialists in the settlement. A medic might grant +1 to healing, a cartographer +1 to exploration, etc. And a new settlement starts out with 1 specialist. I do believe it would be fair to say, in this case, your specialist is Athlana, and your enhancement is to metalworking. You can gain more specialist slots as time passes, but
Well, it's like Assassin's Creed 2, where we go off and find specialists and
exactly
build
Best
our
Assassin's Creed.
precisely like that.
right.
So then your the defense starts at 8, health at 4, and initiative at 4. These traits may come into play. Features include the key locations or assets such as a storehouse, meeting hall, defensive walls, sealed off monsters, lairs, etc. A new settlement should have 3 features, 2 mundane and practical, and the third strange or dangerous. I would say we already have that sort of covered in that your mundane and practical features are farmable soil, ample fishing, and then
the
the chaos stones would be your
doesn't seem normal.
yeah. And your industries that you are known for, I think it would be safe to say that would be the Lebrant, and then if you want to make like something that you're that's central to your identity, known for is probably the wrong choice of words at the moment because nobody knows about your settlement. But if you want to make that other focal point, maybe we say welcoming to refugees, perhaps.
A sanctuary or
Sanctuary, perfect word. I love it.
Yeah.
So
Place for the lost.
Lebrant and Sanctuary are your industries. Beautiful. And if there's anything else of note, noteworthy customs, foods, or anything like that, I think aside from the metal itself, there's nothing at the moment that would count under that. But I'm happy to hear if any of you has something that you think your character would contribute to make this settlement special.
Maybe the foods incorporate herbalism type stuff where food tends to have more nutritious elements to it.
Sure. How about we broaden that up a little bit to exotic and rare herbal growths.
Ooh, I like that.
All right, cool.
Good fungus, weird fish scale.
Thanks.
And
So
omega-3 fatty acids.
So now what we're going to do is you have so we've built our settlement. Obviously, our settlement has not achieved the last Kalm aspiration. Now that we've got the settlement stats, do you want to pick a Kalm aspiration for what you'd like to do before next year, or do we want to wait and do that at the end? Either one's fine. Because we can go through the other elements of Kalm and see if that might alter what your aspiration might be.
What are some examples of aspirations?
Like a Kalm aspiration?
Yeah.
Might be something like build a new church. Might be something like find a new food source. Maybe something like send out adventurers to bring home.
Stabilize a fishery.
Right. Sure. Yeah. Any one sort of. This is the object. This is the main goal that we're trying to do. This is the main thing we want to do. In this case, it might be, setting up a trade relationship with another settlement, for example, for the Lebrant.
So a trade route would have people coming.
Do we have the forge already, or
You have the forge and you have the raw material, and you can mine more materials from the walls in here. So you have what you need to get started, and by the end of your first Kalm, chances are good you'll have some goods. Above and beyond what Athlana will be creating, you also all will have an opportunity to engage in some Kalm crafting and in some Kalm rituals.
do we want to build the church next, or do we want to get trade routes?
I want to shore up defenses first. If we're going to have a stable settlement, we know that the lords and ladies of Rot found this place interesting.
Secure and
we don't want those grubs coming out of the ground and killing us in our sleep. This isn't necessarily do you mind? This isn't necessarily a safe location just yet, and if we want it to be a warm welcome and a stable place to forge,
that. Yeah,
I feel like fortifications are our first move, and then like agriculture, like the ability to eat and trade for eat if that's what we want. But whatever it is, trade for eat. I'm a writer.
Bunga approve. That's gonna be one of our brands.
I've never been so shamed in my
caravan.
life.
Trade for eat caravan.
Your approval fills me with shame. But yeah, I would say fortification personally.
Does anybody have any objection to that being the first Kalm aspiration? Shore up defenses.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, I'm fine with
Go with
that.
it. Yeah.
All right, rock and roll. So we come to our next phase of Kalm, then, is where the Kalm events occur. These are things that might happen throughout the course of the Kalm outside of the character's control. There's a table provided, and I took the liberty of making a roll on that table prior to this session. However,
you canny bastard.
However, because of the nature of what that roll result was, I'm going to let you choose your calm rituals beforehand. I'm going to let you decide what sort of calm rituals you'd like to partake in, and that may affect the outcome of the die roll. So, if you all have the connected manuscript, correct?
Yeah.
The one PDF manuscript.
I've got the evaluation copy.
I believe that is what you'd be looking for.
Is that under chaotic sorcery or?
It's if you look for Community Chaos Calm Rituals, it's on page 288.
I mean, I've got like several. I've got a document for every chapter.
Oh, you
so-
have separate. All right.
Yeah,
So,
like chapter.
I don't know.
let me fix that for you. One moment.
Dangers of the world below 10.
No, it is in chapter.
You want something, huh?
The survival systems?
I do believe it is in the. I'm just digging through. I apologize.
This is why I can't wait for us to actually have the book.
I know, right? Give me a little time. Yeah, it's chapter 5, survival systems.
Oh, I found the common survival systems.
I do believe.
Party and calm aspirations.
Nope, I could
Okay.
be. I may have misspoke. Hold on. This section is actually.
Ooh, a calm event. Found tables.
Yeah, so the calm rituals are actually at the end of your powers. So that would put them in chapter. Seven.
7. Okay.
Sorcery.
Community chaos. Okay. Okay. Found it.
Yep. Yeah, the heading is Community Chaos Calm Rituals. And there are a few that are pre-built. And those are broken out by your wisdom, effectively. So there are alchemist ones, there are farsighter ones, hunter, holy, chaosist, and silhouette. I know that you had talked about for Stropharia wanting to create a church, for example.
Yeah.
So if you go into the holy rituals, you have consecrate, which means you spend the calm consecrating an area of the settlement. Consecrated section is spherical region, which is a medium range band in size. If the ritual succeeds, the consecrated area is under the effects of the holy ground sorcery until the beginning of the next calm. Additionally, the community gains +1 enhancement to all actions relying on the desperation pool, as the show of faith imbues the community members with a sense of purpose.
Ooh, I like that.
So do you have culture or persuasion at 2?
Let me double check. I think I definitely have persuasion. Yeah.
All right,
I have
and I assume you have a presence of 2, correct?
Yeah.
All right,
Presence.
beautiful. So then what you would do If that's the ritual, if that's the calm ritual that you would like to focus your attention on, you would go ahead and give me a roll of your culture plus, or I'm sorry, your persuasion plus presence.
Okay.
You would have a moderate complication, so complication of 2, and if you fail to resolve that complication, you will suffer a chaotic retaliation.
I got a 10 and 2 9s.
Excellent. So the 10 counts as 2 hits. The 9s are 1 hit each. So that is enough to succeed. Buy off the complication and have an additional hit. With that additional hit, you can gain a +1 enhancement on persuasion actions until the end of the next story.
Like all of them, or just one?
For just any persuasion action that Stropharia makes.
Cool.
So that
Okay.
so you can go ahead and mark down that you have a +1 enhancement on all persuasion actions until the end of the next story. This is from the confidence that you have built, along with consecrating a portion of the settlement to Gulthon. For what we've got, if I'm not mistaken, Savo is an alchemist, correct?
That's correct.
So the 2 options that are left there for Savo are animate allies, which allows you to build some mechanical constructs to assist the settlement, or invigorating draft, which lets you make a concoction that guarantees your community resistance to illnesses and toxins. Are either of those particularly appealing to you?
Enemy allies, because I know Storfair is probably going to deal with something involving the health
Okay.
of the community. So, but I know we were talking about defense, so let me just bolster this defense real fast.
All right.
Yeah,
Do you have
some-
a science or technology at 2?
I do.
Which
Can
one?
I help with this? Because I'm an alchemist and I'm good at
You're
that.
an alchemist as well?
Yeah.
Okay, so then yes, the two of you can work together on one ritual, or one of you could do animate allies, one of you could do invigorating draft. It's up to you. Each person gets one ritual. So if you want to work as a team, absolutely fine. If you want to do both rituals, you can also do that. So do you want to work in tandem on it?
I like that. I think we could make more and better if we do.
Yeah.
All right. Well, in this case, then, who are you leaning on, science or technology, Savo?
I'm leaning on technology.
All right. And do you have a technology of 2 for Kalzul?
My technology is 2.
All right. Excellent. So then what we'll do then is we'll have Kalzul make a technology intellect roll, and then that will act as an enhancement on Savo's technology intellect roll. Make
Cool.
sense?
So intellect technology. Let me roll that real quick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Excellent. So that's 5 hits. That's 5 enhancement to your roll, Savo. And remember that you will have to overcome the moderate complication due to the chaos in the area.
Okay. 2 10s and a 9.
All right. Excellent. So that's 2, 4, 5 plus 5 enhancement. That's 10 hits. So you create various small constructs that increase the community's defense by 1 and gives it a specialist as a laborer until the next calm phase. So we're going to temporarily boost up that defense. And we're going to temporarily add +1 to labor. And that eats your first 3 hits. Now, because you have 7 additional hits, you can spend 2 hits to retain a small prototype construct. This construct can understand simple instructions, carry out basic tasks as if it had 1 dot in all physical attributes, and communicate simple concepts such as danger, problem, or finished to the alchemist. Further additional hits can be spent to increase the construct's primary pool at a cost of 3 hits per increase. The construct runs out of power at the start of the next Kalm. So basically you can build a construct that will have a primary pool of 3.
Is it possible to build a consistent like champion construct for a settlement? Like every Kalm, it's like, you know, you just keep making it bigger and better and maintaining it.
Yes, something like that would fall under the crafting, which we're not quite to.
Right.
Gotcha.
So we can get there in a moment. But for now, if you want to go ahead and note that you have a construct that has a primary pool of 3, secondary pool of 2, desperation pool of 1.
Crow, you got that?
Repeat that one more time.
Sure. Primary 3,
Primary 3. Okay.
secondary 2,
Here, 2.
desperation 1, and its health and defense are also 1. And it can do simple tasks for you, and it will hang around and be your buddy until the next Kalm. Excellent. Next up, so that just leaves us with Bunga. And what was Bunga? Bunga's a hunter, right?
That's right. It looks like the rituals are Apex or Feast.
Yes, yes. So if
I'm
you
looking at Apex.
all right, you want to spend the Kalm hunting a blight. Glorious.
Yeah, it says it's usually a monster that threatens the settlement, and the hunt is a solution to the problem. They undertake the Apex ritual simply to test their skills, gain prestige, or revel in the thrill of hunting a truly exceptional foe. But as a result, if it succeeds, the community is imbued with a little of the hunter's ferocity, and its defense is permanently increased by 1.
Beautiful. I love it. All right. So let's go ahead. Are you focusing on ranged combat or close combat?
Do close combat.
All right, let's get a close combat might roll, please. You will have, of course, your complication of 2 that you need to overcome because of the chaos in the area.
All right, my highest dice pool. Here we go. And we can't spend willpower or anything. on
Yeah,
these rolls.
there's no you can use momentum. You do have momentum in the pool. Since it's the start of a session, you have 4 momentum in the pool. You can spend momentum for enhancement. You can spend momentum to turn a failed roll into a successful roll with a cost. And I would let you spend enough momentum to overcome. If you get a success, but you don't have enough to overcome that complication, I would let you spend momentum equal to the unresolved
Let's save it for when
complication.
something nasty comes up.
Sure.
You know?
Hey, roll those dice. That might be sooner than you think.
Exactly, because you can use one to re-roll, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, what do we got? Wow, that's and what are successes?
You're looking for 8s, 9s, 10s.
I rolled the highest I rolled was a 7, and there's 3 1s in there.
All right, so that is absolutely a botch. Would
Hold
you
on.
like? Yes.
Let's what could I use momentum for? Can I use a momentum to re-roll a failed?
So You can spend momentum.
I believe that was an option.
Let's see.
Wow, it's
here.
like I knew it was coming.
Yes, exactly. I'm just finding the full momentum rules here because it is
We're
a little
weaker against monsters.
it is a little
because-
different in Ultra. So
You provoked it.
Uh-oh. I've woken up a kaiju just outside.
You've given them a taste for people. They've communicated. They've decided people taste good. Let's go get some
Uh-oh.
more.
so you can add.
I knew I should have eaten that pineapple before going hunting.
Yeah, you do not get to spend them to reroll dice in Ultra. The way they work are you can add an enhancement to an action on a 1-for-1 basis. You can spend 2 momentum points to change a failure into a success or a success with a consequence if a complication is present. If you choose this use, you cannot spend more momentum points for enhancement for tricks or turn the action to an extraordinary success. Other sources of enhancement, however, apply normally.
What's the best option here?
Just
I-
make it a success. I'm completely comfortable with that compromise.
Yeah, I would
Is he
say
on the holy ground? Does that count as a +1 enhancement to?
no, because the rituals are occurring simultaneously during the calm. So, like while you're doing your daily rituals to consecrate that ground, like Bunga's like out
I'm
in the
out hunting
wilderness
this.
hunting this creature.
Yeah, we
This
can't
creature.
send our little animated minions to help either because we're in the process of making it.
Right.
Eh.
It's all happening kind of at the same time.
Damn, I thought with 10 dice, perhaps, just once. I felt it coming too. I was like,
Nope. Nope.
I'm not using bunga dice anymore. These are what color? Like, aren't those very bunga
Yeah.
dice? Like, they're very rock-like and
Those are very
orange and brown.
They
Stony.
look like big boogers, yeah.
But you know what? Exactly why I chose them. But you know what? That was the first roll, and every single one of them failed me. So they're going away.
So then, are we going to in fact spend
As much as I can possibly spend to
2
not
momentum
make
to
that,
to make that a success with complication? Everyone's cool with that.
Yeah.
All right. So then, what I would
unless we want a critical fail and we want an enemy, like a kaiju that's an enemy of the
That might be fun
settlement.
too.
That is super interesting. I don't know. Do we want to play smart or fun?
Well, just to remind you, even with this success, you will be suffering a chaotic retaliation.
Oh, okay. Let's spend as much as I can possibly spend to make this better for everyone.
Yeah.
Okay, so I can't get over it. Your dice look like Lovecraft's tie from Cast a Deadly Spell. All I can hear is like, "Nice tie." Oh, thank you. Did it put up much of a fight? That's I can't. I love it.
In that
I
case,
just picture him being like, "I'll be back," and then like 2 hours later, like full sprint, like running back, being like,
Just
And this
anime
is this-
sprint.
an anime sprint, and it's just like giant, weird, like Starship Trooper creature, like right behind him.
exactly.
Bugs are bigger here.
You brought Tyranids into our
There we
world,
go.
but
Speaking
that's
of
great.
40K, yeah.
Well,
That's great.
why don't you grab 2 10-sided dice, roll those suckers, and add them up, and let me know what you got, and I'll tell you what happens.
What is this for?
This is for your chaotic retaliation.
Oh, no.
Is this roll high or low?
No,
Oh,
it's
low.
well, it's
I don't need to know. I'm just gonna let him go. Oh my! A
Instead of
4
one
and a
kaiju,
6. A 4 and a 6, straight down the
so
middle.
your
What
total
does
is
this mean?
a 10. That is hilarious. Okay.
Please
so,
tell me why.
I will in a moment. But first, I would like you to roll another d10 and tell me what the.
Oh no!
I feel like I'm audibly wincing.
Another D10.
What? What is it? You guys, we might want to find a new place. 10?
I was gonna find a new place.
Chapter
Excellent.
5,
This is
Bunga
my
breaks
first
it again.
success, and it's on this weird mystery extra D10. 10?
So,
Is that, maybe
that-
that's bad. Maybe there's 10 monsters.
with a. No, the number of monsters that are summoned are equal to the skill used in the effort. So, what's your close combat skill?
Oh
Are you
no!
kidding?
No, I'm not.
Max.
That's serious.
You're rolling
5?
size.
All right.
It's 5.
Excellent. And the 1d10 result was the template of which the creature will use. And you got a
No.
10. So that's a horror.
Bunga has
Yeah.
called a big one.
Is that the
Again,
strongest
it is the legend.
it could possibly have been?
Yes. Your efforts at
Oh, why did they roll a 1?
your efforts at hunting.
You know, Cal, we do better when you're not around, but we don't have as much fun.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
I mean that with love, really, truly.
So the worst possible thing that could have possibly have happened.
Your efforts at hunting, as you're making your way around the outer rim of the settlement, you manage to accidentally awaken some slumbering minions of the Vrot that followed you back into the settlement. So what we're going to do is we're going to run a little couple rounds of test combat here. We're going to go first blood, I think, is how we will break this down. So I'm going to go ahead and snatch me up a enemy for you. Do you all have the stats for your settlement, correct?
Um,
Oh, you mean like the
what we just were talking about earlier.
Yes.
It was like
it's warm welcome and metalworking was our D8. Sorry, was our 8 dice pool.
Yeah.
Our primary, sorry. Our secondary was medicine and herbalism and chaos mastery.
yes.
And then everything else was
Desperate.
the term was desperate, yeah.
All right. So,
And the specialist was for metalworking.
I
Yes.
should call this chapter "Everything Else Was Desperate."
all right. Yeah. So I think desperation is what you're going to be relying on here. So I'm going to roll the primary pool of the antagonist against your settlement's current defense. You will roll the desperation pool of your settlement.
Our defense was 8, right?
Yes, against the creatures.
What happens if we lose?
Your defense
die?
will start to suffer health accordingly.
Oh,
If your settlement falls to 0 health, it is destroyed.
And it has 4 health?
Correct.
Yeah.
So I guess my ritual doesn't take effect yet. Eh?
Right. That's correct.
No.
Because this is
Oh.
all during.
Bunga's
the
just
call.
running back. And he's like, that's not an earthquake as the ground's shaking. And
It would have helped so much.
eldritch horrors beyond our comprehension flood through the tunnels.
So,
Who was on bunga duty?
Yeah, this is on you, really.
the
Think of how much we're going to eat if these things are edible and not toxic.
Vrot remnant.
would you eat something called Vrat?
No.
I mean, I don't know. Bunga's
Not even
kind of like a
Unga.
Klingon, maybe.
That which does not kill you.
Let me
give
double
you
check
food
that defense
poisoning.
trait.
Gives you
your-
food poisoning.
Your defense is currently a 9. The Vrot, in their initial volley of attacks, the first starts banging against that outer door of Labrant that you have to give things to hang, and is unable to penetrate it. The second,
That's because Bunga's on the other side yelling at Hodor.
the second one
Still too soon.
tries working the back entrance where that slim area is, and in fact, you can see like the crevice above where you've got it plated off starting to crack and break, but it does not break through. The third of the Vrat is going to try to come up through the water. Wow. And remarkably, to your delight, becomes caught in the traps that you built along the river. The fourth Vrat is going to try to burrow in from the floor beneath.
Get eaten by grubs. Get eaten by grubs. Get eaten by grubs.
Remarkably, is unable to breach. And the
Eating my
last
grubs.
of the Vrat is going to try to come in through that weakened ceiling where all the stalactites have fallen. And it is now thinner.
Interesting how the highest of the dice pool, if you fail, make more monster come.
Excellent.
Roll high, except when you roll high.
The entire settlement is rocked after Bunga runs back in, slamming the door behind him and screaming, help, 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 problems. And again, as I said, this is a fight to first blood. So now the settlement gets a chance to attack.
Did the one from the ceiling get in?
None of them got in yet. So you have a settlement action. Now you can choose for the settlement to rely on its desperation pool and to rely on mundane means of trying to repel the creatures. Alternatively, you do have a chaos mastery in your secondary pool. So if you wanted to try to use chaos magic to try to drive these off, you can do so. Fortunately, you also do have a chaosist in your settlement, so you would be able to use the chaos level as a enhancement rather than a complication.
I pray to the well.
Bunga just found religion.
And be like, dear well. Well, their dogma's well worship, but you know, it's just because it was like what all the other hobs
Sure
were doing, right?
That's
like he
fair.
went to a well worship school and like you know, wasn't
they
allowed
gave
to-
you pizza after the
Exactly, yeah. The pizza day really sold the well worship there.
All right.
And I go, dear Mr. Well.
In that case, I would let you, or if you would like somebody else to roll, since you've had such terrible luck with the dice, Cal,
Please, by all means.
I would get you 6 dice with an enhancement of 2 to try.
Unless you think it's going to turn around with the blue dice.
I'd be happy to roll.
Yeah.
Please do.
Yeah.
6 dice with an enhancement of 2.
Yep.
And the enhancement is because...
Of the chaos level, because you have a chaosist
Oh, that's right.
8,
in the
8, 9, 9, 10.
excellent. You all sort of gather around. Bunga, you start praying. As you're praying, M starts shouting at people like, I need you to do this. I need you to bring me a handful of that dirt. I need you to bring me a chunk of LeBron.
Give me that guy's arm.
You, ice latte.
Give me that guy's arm.
I need it.
Kelzul, kill something. You know.
Kelzul, watch Bunga.
I talk to the bodies. I don't create the bodies.
Sava, I need you to build me a small little trap. And as all this sort of discussion is happening, M sort of creates a spear of chaotic energy through the various things that you pull together and fires it up into the ceiling where it harmlessly passes through the dirt and then solidifies, very harmfully making contact with the remnant of the Vrat, which bloodies its nose and causes it to run away. So, you have managed to fight off...
Oh, first blood.
Yep. You've managed to fight off this incursion. Let's see.
Okay.
So what
And
you're saying is I succeeded
Now,
yeah, you did.
because I spent the momentum. So technically,
Yes.
You
This
know,
was
getting yourself-
a successful roll.
Getting yourself into a car accident and then surviving it is not a success. It's not a lucky day.
the settlement's defense is raised by 1 permanently.
Yes.
All right, that is
absolutely.
pretty cool.
yeah,
That is
that's
pretty
fair.
cool.
Succeeded at a cost.
Yeah.
Yep. And so
The role playing game.
Yeah, and as you can see, having that high defense works in your favor. It's a good thing because you just held off these horror template monstrosities that wanted to eat all of your faces. So congratulations on that. However, that brings us to our next phase of Kalm, in which you discover when the Vrat were trying to break in, There was a lot of chaos, not
With a
with a
C.
K, right? Um, and you discover a few weeks later, Stropharia, while you're working on your consecration ritual, you come across Geltham, Athlana's niece, in the process of sabotaging some of the food, actually.
Oh no.
And when you confront her, her face opens, revealing a mass of black tentacles that extend out about 6 inches from her face. You recognize to your horror that this is one of the Clotha. The Clotha are a species that has originates in the void, I believe. And they often will try to work their way to the surface and sow chaos and destruction along the way. They, in their natural form, they look kind of like a slick black lamprey type thing, like a wormish sort of thing. But they are capable of working their way into a host, eating its brain, and piloting its body.
Oh no.
So she's
He's not okay.
dead.
She is dead.
Oh.
Yes.
No, we were friends. That sucks.
When did this happen?
Was there a way to avoid this? Did we miss a step, or is this just
Sometimes
So certain chaos rituals will give you an option of changing the result on this phase that we're in is technically what's called the Kalm events, the things that happen to the settlement outside of your control. There are certain calm rituals that can alter the result on that table by 1 or 2 column shifts. So you can say, "Oh, I don't like that. Let's move it to this." Unfortunately, none of them were what we had to work with. So this was the result off the dice when I rolled prior to game. The Cloatha infiltrator. Fortunately, you do spot them and are able to run them out of town. Now, with the result that I rolled on the table, you have a choice. You may choose, as a settlement, to run them out of town and potentially deal with that enemy later, or kill one of your friends and potentially deal with the ill will that might leave amongst, say, the other relatives that are living there.
wait, do they see that it's clearly a monster?
You all are aware. Like once its cover's blown, its cover's blown.
So it sounds like she's already dead. Like,
Sure.
how do you get ill will for killing the thing that murdered?
Well, much as we
Your
discussed
niece and-
earlier in this session, it's
missed
the
that.
zombie movie problem.
Oh,
I can't
people
shoot it.
believe
It's
maybe
my
they
kid.
can-
Yeah. So,
Right.
Not anymore.
and I'm not necessarily guaranteeing that that's the stance that the LeBron family will take, but that is a potential consequence of just outright destroying the body.
Is there a consequence of them being angry that we just let them run off into the?
I mean, theoretically, possibly yes, but I'm going to go ahead and say that's not on the table.
Is there time?
Okay, so it's
and-
Herschel's farm all over again.
Aw.
All right, it's time to be Shane.
Is there an opportunity to be like to ask what's her name again?
Yeah, Alflana.
Thank you. Is there a chance to ask Alflana, what should we do? What do you want us to do?
Absolutely, yeah. If you want to seek Alflana's counsel on this situation, you absolutely can do so.
Shoot 2 arrows into its chest and be like, "Would your niece be fine after that?"
You crack open the head and tell me if you see a brain, and I will. You could do whatever you want to me if there's still brain in there.
I would kind of be against desecrating her body at this point too, because I have a relationship with her.
So
Then
Her
Now,
body's
you
been
can-
desecrated by a clotho.
you can end
I know,
her.
but I don't want to like further. I don't want to
Oh,
injure her. It's like
no, it's-
it's
yeah.
a mental gymnastics thing.
I'm being
Sure.
fatuous. I understand. I do.
I mean, and to
I'm a
that
dad.
end, to that end too, you know, you're welcome to. You're the one who discovered it, so you're welcome to proceed how you wish to proceed. If you want to consult Athlana, if you want to bring the community together, if you want to just handle it yourself, it's entirely in your hands at the moment, Stropharia. So, what would you prefer?
How do I bring the community in when it's
Well,
it-
we're going to assume, without dicking around with dice rolls, that you caught her by enough surprise, you were able to restrain her.
oh, okay. Okay.
So you have that time and that opportunity. You have that ability to make that call. You can say, you can hold a trial if you want to. You can, you know, you could ask your necromancer buddy to do some exploratory surgery and see if there's any of her left in there. You
I
know,
think I have medicine.
that doesn't
That's-
matter.
That's Haley's thing. Hey,
Necromancer
I'm a-
without medicine.
I am a professional. Okay.
I am a professional. All right, now we're just gonna crack open this skull and oh, that's not what I expected. Crikey.
If we have time, then yeah. If I've restrained her like safely, then I would definitely consult other people. If I had no time, then I would be like,
Yeah, no.
I'm gonna deal with this right now.
Again,
There's
all of these calm
There's no
things
resing.
kind of happen like in their own time, as it were. So
Yeah,
I'm
the
gonna
con can last a long time.
right. So I'm gonna just go ahead and assume, you know, we a lot of the intricacies we can handle narratively, but so you're gonna pull the settlement together and say, look, I found this. You know, she's clearly possessed. What do you want to do?
Yeah,
Effectively?
yeah.
Yes.
So she's dead? Her spirit no longer occupies the shell once what it did?
Why doesn't everyone go ahead and give me an esoterica and intellect test, please?
What if we have no esoterica?
Then you can lean on your personal stance on this because you don't know.
What if
I'm
we
gonna
have
roll my
one
1, 2,
single
3, 4,
intellect?
5, 6,
I mean, you can roll it and see
9,
what you come up
10.
with.
Okay, so I rolled a
Two.
9, a 9, a 9, an 8, a 10, a 10.
All right. So you have a pretty firm belief that her consciousness ended the moment that possession began.
Can I make contact with her spirit then?
Sure. Why not?
Then I want to know what she wants.
Okay. Before that, though, Crow, did you have something that you wanted to check?
I am probably, if he's notified, he's probably going to trap her just so at least she's not just running away, spreading more chaos or whatever possible damage she could do.
Okay. Do you have a particular means in mind, or are you just going to kind of point at your automatons and be like, build a cage?
Let me see. What I have? You know what? We're just fish trapping her. We're creating a land trap for this person, and just like stay.
Right. Let's go ahead and have you make a technology intellect roll, please. You may claim the enhancement of your assistance, which is a +1, and then of your I'll give you an additional +2 enhancement for your star automaton, the one that's going to survive. So a total of 3 enhancement on this roll.
Let's see, 9, 9, 8, 8, 10.
Okay, yeah. So you build a rather impressive cage out of basically some stones and some bars of the Lebrant metal. She ain't going nowhere.
Meanwhile, I'm doing the zombie stereotype thing, trying to talk to them. All right, remember
Bunga.
me, Bunga.
She looks at you and goes,
May I speak for the Clotho?
Please do.
Exactly that noise. So you reckon you can speak with her spirit, and I believe you have a thesis that just lets you do that, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
Once a session or whatever.
Yeah. And if there was a roll, I'd roll some of whatever that last thing was and just throw that at it.
Fair enough. So you summon forth the spirit, and it appears in such a way that each of you may ask it a question or speak to it. It appears disembodied directly in front of the cage. Obviously, this is disturbing to Athlana and to the remaining niece, her sister.
I lean into the drama of that and I point at him and go, "Witch! Witch!"
M points at you and says, "We know! We know!"
Oh, all right.
I want to make sure that there's at least one opportunity for the spirit and the family to have like speech and closure and confirmation.
Right?
The single best thing that a necromancer can do is allow the living and the dead to find peace together.
Very good. They take their moment and say their regrets and I love yous and I'm sorry.
And air their grievances.
Right. They bang the Festivus.
What is this, Festivus?
Yeah.
I see you.
The airing of grievances.
Does Bunga have a question for the spirit?
Yeah. What's it like on the other side?
Cold. Frightening.
She.
Does
That quote better appear in one of the books.
Strafuria have a question?
She just, not a question, just remorse. I said I'd look out for you, and then this happened.
Says it wasn't your fault. I fell into the water while we were avoiding the rot, and I believe this swam into me when I did.
Oh, it's Bunga's fault then.
Yep.
Yeah. She'll kind of give a little glare to Bunga, and then she'll say, "I swear I'll look after your sister. No harm should come to her."
Thank you. And
is this a Brienne of Tarth thing where all your wards keep dying and you just move? I swear I
didn't want to say it, but I was thinking it,
yeah.
Well, I think it's the first time you've actually
doing her
directly
best,
sworn
okay?
to protect somebody in game. I think there was one prior, but you swear your oath to protect Aradia, and she thanks you for it. What about for Savo? Do you have a question for the spirit?
Actually, now that I know that it happened in the water, do you know which way that it swam up from?
Yes, and she points to the downstream. Basically, it swam upstream to get in. And if you recall properly, that's the area that you had slightly less of your defenses on. So really, there's blame to go around.
Okay, so question.
So you have your question, but you also have the ability to continue interacting a little bit beyond the first question. So,
what would you have us do in regards to your former body?
I'm no longer in that body, and I feel that the fear and cold I'm experiencing is because I am trapped here.
Would it help your release if we destroyed your corporeal form?
I can only assume so. My only request is that you allow my body to help fuel this settlement.
We do that.
I'm gonna look over at Athania.
Do bodies like dissolve or disappear mysteriously in the
Bodies
world?
totally disappear mysteriously in the world below if you don't use a power to.
I have the ability compost.
Yep.
That turns biological matter into rich, nutritious soil. So, yeah, this is I took that specifically for calm and barter purposes. So this is
That's great.
it's my moment. Uh
She says, "Fear
that's-
not, I will be free," and like runs her hand along Athlena's cheek.
Oh,
And then not you're unable to touch her, but you even can kind of see through the hand a little bit. But then she
Yeah,
turns
like Ghost.
she turns to you and says, "I'm ready."
if for some reason you find yourself still bound or wish to stay, you can reach out to me. This is why I'm here. So,
Or haunt Bunga.
Just thank you.
If-
Hopefully, I won't need to.
of course, but know that you are not trapped and you are not alone.
She
We all
nods.
meet again by and by.
How would you like to shuffle her loose the mortal coil?
We have ranged experts.
I think maybe since
Old
Bunga,
Yeller style.
I'm not gonna. I'll do it.
No.
Bunga will do it.
You should. It's
Salvo
your
is
fault.
by
Is
the
my-
time he reaches over, Salvo has already like fired that arrow.
Shoot it out of the air. No.
Bunga, completely not catching that it's been shot, walks over and mournfully starts smashing an already dead body. Bunga has done it.
I'll give you this much. You do get an arrow and it strikes true, and you realize the Bunga is still going to have to do some work because the single arrow seems to only enrage the cloth as its tentacles start. After
Little
I speak
pointy
that.
stick just make creature angry.
After firing a couple more arrows into it and pulling it literally limb from limb, Bunga, you eventually are able to destroy the creature to the point that its limbs stop twitching, and the tentacles that were emerging from it sort of shrivel up, much like if you pour salt on a slug.
Waste not, want not.
This has been the worst funeral I've been in a while, and I've only been to like 3.
I'm gonna fix that for you. First off, compost.
All right. So to compost, you will need to roll esoteric or resolve. This
Imagine he botches the compost roll,
I will laugh so hard.
and it just becomes a writhing monstrosity.
So you do have
just play the scariest
Can-
scene in Star Trek history with the transporter mishap in the first movie.
what we got back, thankfully, didn't live long.
Oh, I'd rather look at the bluegill blow up of Remick than go through that scene again. That
do
got me
have-
into sound design.
You do have a complication of
1,
2 to resolve.
3, 4, 5.
Excellent. So not only are you able to create enough mulch to cover a short range band worth of earth, and that doubles the basic crop yield of the area. Also, any of you who have any minor injuries or whatnot, if you touch the mulch within a minute, you heal. So you're able
I can
to
turn bodies into cure light soil.
Yep. So you're able to gain some measure of solace and use out of the younger of the LeBron sisters' demise.
The area
Who's
that
the younger one?
Yeah, it was the baby. I mean, not baby, but the youngest.
The
yeah.
area that we spread it over, I'd like to sort of section it off and label it her garden as
Beautiful.
sort of a remembrance type thing.
Oh, I like
That's
that.
very sweet.
So
That's very, very sweet.
No, she was like a hobgoblin.
I think that's
A huge goblin.
Well,
so
she was
that,
kind of a lanky, skinny goblin, but continue.
but yeah, the idea here is not only is that good for the spirit, but that's also good for
Like a memorial.
it soothes the whole community.
Sure. I like it.
So
A garden named after them.
I like it a lot.
Instead of a memorial bench, they have a memorial garden.
whatever happens to this corpse, I hope they make a garden out of it because that's better than what they've got planned for me
A
already.
chandelier.
So once this is resolved, the unfortunate side of this is when you have this level of a calm event, it effectively stops you from doing any what are called calm developments, which are community-wide projects. It has eaten enough of your time and resources that certain actions are not permitted during this calm. However, it does not interfere with your ability to engage in calm crafting.
Okay.
So you can do things on a personal level still. And again, it doesn't interfere with your calm rituals either. It just interferes with the community planning project, basically, right? Because every calm you get to make one sort of like, we're going to raise our defense. You don't get to do that this time,
Boo.
basically. So for crafting, you can choose if you're going to craft a mundane item or craft a magical item. When crafting mundane items, you take a crafting action using your artistry, science, or technology. Choose your best attribute between cunning, intellect, and dexterity, and make a roll at difficulty 1. Additional hits can be used to apply enhancement or tags to the item. If you're crafting a magical item, you have to take an action for each milestone in the crafting. There are multiple milestones in magic items. You have to wait a certain amount of time between taking each milestone action, depending on how powerful the item is. When performing each milestone action, use a skill listed in the step's description and the best attribute between cunning, intellect, or dexterity. So, does anyone want to craft a mundane item during this calm?
Magic.
I want to try magic.
Ditto.
Ooh, what if we make the smith like a magical like anvil and hammer and anvil, and then future
that's-
stuff is
That's way smarter than what I was thinking.
oh,
Gee, I love that.
That could be very cool. So,
and then she's just can be more efficient with the materials, or then it's something into the community rather than a single item.
well,
Yeah.
each of you
Does that make
gets
sense?
each of you gets to choose one crafting action. So, you can pool them if you want to work together.
I'm gonna pool because what's the pool for? I'm not doing anything by myself anymore. Bunga learn. Because I'll make a bomb or something if I'm left. What
Sure.
would be the
So
roles for these?
if you're going to be
who's on bunga duty?
well, if you're going to be doing magic items, okay.
That's Crow. That's yours. Man.
Your if you're trying to get it done within the span of one calm, the maximum you can go for is an enchanted item at a combined total of enhancements or tags at 5, which gives you basically one scene between each milestone. Make sense? You can craft artifact level, which have 7 tags or enhancement maximum, but that is a calm per milestone. So that's something that you have to craft over years. So if you want to go for something that can be done within the span of one calm, you're looking at enchanted, which is one scene between, and you have 3 milestones you need to hit. The first milestone is planning, which is rolled using culture, larceny, or persuasion. The second is crafting, which uses artistry, science, or technology. And the third is testing, which is enigmas, science, or survival. So again, you can work together on an item. You can say, I'm going to do the design work. I'm going to let X character do the actual construction, and we'll have Y character test it. That's fine, but that's the crafting action for those 3 characters. You follow what I'm saying?
Yeah.
No esoterica options? Bummer.
No, not directly.
Not for this thing.
Not for this.
I know you
particular-
want to use the biggest pool for everything.
Well, of course I do.
Yeah, me too. So
Because it worked out so
As
well last time.
Bunga is a man of culture. I have 2 dots in culture. What was
Drinking
the
isn't
first
culture.
one?
So the
What was
first-
the first one? It was culture, larceny,
Larceny or persuasion.
does anyone have higher than 2?
No, that's you.
Persuasion?
I'm here for enigmas.
Nobody? Nothing?
Okay, so
What
that would
was the things?
Culture, larceny, or persuasion?
I
And this
have
is the
2
planning
in
phase.
larceny.
Oh, there we go.
I
And
got
what's the
2 in
attribute?
persuasion. Oh, and I get a +1 to. No, I don't.
yeah, not yet.
And what's combined with the skill?
The highest of your intellect, cunning, dexterity.
Ah,
Oh,
Splendid. all right, I'll do it.
Well, so here's the thing: you have a high enigmas, right?
It's the same as my larceny.
Okay, because I was gonna say for testing, you'll want someone with a high enigmas, science, or survival.
I have 5 survival.
Okay, so
So I
maybe
could
you should do
test
the
it.
testing.
And
Yeah.
there we go. Yeah.
And do Savo or Strophiria want to work on this project or work on your own side projects during the crafting phase?
Stropharia is not good at any of this.
Right, you
And
don't,
what's
and
the
you don't
second
have to
phase?
build anything either.
What's the second
Okay.
phase? The crafting phase? What
So
are the
the
different
actual
skills?
crafting phase is artistry, science, or technology.
Do you have any of those?
Yeah, technology.
No, I don't have any of those.
Always and forever.
So what happens if the other 2 don't want to take part? Well, what happens to the second stage?
So one of you would do it,
Oh, I
right?
see. So what's the
So what it boils down to is you each get one project. You could, if the milestones are enough, you could do one project on your own. But if you're going to work as
I
a
see.
team, you get to take
then our skills are spread out more. I don't have any technology or science.
right. So if
I
Savo
have-
did want to hop in on that second stage, I think that would be where Savo would be best
Yeah,
useful.
I have 2 technology. What's Savo rocking?
3.
Nice.
I guess it depends what attribute it's combined with as well.
It's again your highest of your intellect, cunning, or dexterity.
Five over here.
My pool would just be 5 because they don't have any of the skills.
Be 7 for me.
Total.
I'd come out
Yeah.
to the same.
Yeah.
So if you want, it sounds like you can do part 1 and 2. Like
Sure.
it sounds like, right?
Yeah.
And then if
either
either Salvo,
yeah, so either Savo or Kelzul could technically do parts 1 and 2 just fine. Or one of them could take part 1, one of them could take part 2, and then you could take part 3.
because then Salvo and geez, what's the priestess's name? I
Stropharia?
forget everyone's name. Stropharia. You could kind of go and do your own.
Yeah, you have that option. And again, you also have the option, Stropharia, if you just don't want to do any crafting, you don't have to do any crafting.
I don't think she would do crafting.
Right on. No worries. You
There's
can just
other people there that
FYI,
can-
you can also use that just to make mundane tools too. You can be like,
Okay,
you know
well,
what? I'd like to
let's
build a
do that.
shovel this calm, so I'm going to work on building a shovel. That is also an option.
What do you want to do, Crow?
Anything to help the forge, because I feel like because that's our mainstay.
Yeah. Okay. So how about we split it up then?
Yeah.
All right. So who wants to take the first step? It sounds like, as far as step 1, step 2, that Savo and Kalzul are pretty much neck and neck for both of those pools. Is that accurate?
Yeah. I'm rolling a 7 either way.
Yep.
All right. So do you have a preference of step 1 or step 2, Savo?
Let's let Savo do the crafting part because it sounds like that's important to him.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? And Savo will be able to pull maximum enhancement from the automatons.
Yep.
So
Nice.
so let's go ahead and do the design roll from Kalzul. That will be a culture, larceny, or persuasion roll. You can also make this roll for your mundane tool that you would like to build at the same time, Stropharia. 5
Did
hits?
she make like a flag or something like for the town?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. If you want to make like a banner,
She would be more into decorating. I
that would
feel.
be fine. Yeah. What would you like to lean on to design said banner?
Um, she's got culture. She's got empathy
Culture, probably. Unless persuasion. What's your persuasion at?
too.
And is that higher than your culture?
We're just as cultured and persuasive.
Yeah, I got one
Oddly.
in culture.
Yeah, so go ahead and do a persuasion and
Wait.
the highest of your cunning.
Bunga is more cultured.
Yeah,
highest of your cunning,
Understanding
dexterity,
culture and
or-
being cultured are not the same
That's
thing.
valid too.
she's got more empathy.
How much empathy?
2.
One.
What? You have more?
One empathy.
I'm seeing Cal right now. That's where I'm putting my XP.
That's where I'm. That's how
The
I'm
race is
role-playing,
on.
anyways.
The race is on to be more empathetic towards each other. Look out, other RPGs.
Now that's the most Onyx Path thing I've ever heard.
Yeah.
So how many hits did you get on your design roll, Stropharia?
What was the second one?
It's your cunning or whichever skill you went on, and then you add your the highest of your dexterity, intellect or cunning.
Can I do resolve? I don't know.
No, it's dex and intellect.
Intellect. Okay.
Your milestones are way easier to hit too when you're just doing mundane tech.
I got a 10, so
That's 2 hits. That's enough to get you to the next milestone. So you have also cleared what is necessary for your milestone for the design phase. And I'm just looking to see. So additional hits. When it's all said and done, additional hits will let you add tags or enhancement. So then our next step is the crafting. Each of you, so Savo and Stropharia, you will roll your choice of artistry, science, or technology, plus again the best of your cunning, intellect, or dexterity.
Okay.
Savo, you have 3 enhancement on this because of the puppets.
Okay. So altogether it'd be 5.
All right. So 5 hits.
Yep.
All right, excellent. So
Kevin got 5 hits. Crow
Yeah.
got 5 hits.
So
and it's all down to
I got 1.
okay, that's enough to move you ahead to the next one.
Really?
Yep.
they're making
Well,
a banner.
Max's-
It's out with
Just,
crayons
what
and
can go wrong?
But Bunga's gonna roll. I'll be right back.
Sure. No worries. We'll see when you get back. Bunga, go ahead and give me that.
survival and dexterity. To
Yeah.
test this enchanted hammer out.
Yes.
Oh no. Well, masters, please. Listen. I know you guys have a weird sense of humor, but like these last 2 things have been a little much. Like a little extra. Just maybe go easy. We are not your strongest soldiers, especially not Manga.
Who is he praying to? Wait, what? I thought he was
same well.
talking to Bunga. Oh, okay.
The same well.
Please, for the love of God,
So yeah, you would
don't let
each
Bunga break it.
you would each
It's
roll.
not a very good hammer.
You would each roll your choice of science, enigmas, or survival.
Survival is 5. Dexterity is 5. I'm gonna spend some momentum.
Yeah,
Oh,
you
we have any?
want some enhancement? Yeah, there's still 2 in the pool.
Is it 2 momentum?
There's 2 momentum in the pool, so you can spend 1 to get enhancement and 1 on your roll.
I will.
And what did you get?
I got a 10.
Excellent. So that's another 2 hits. So you have succeeded, and you'll be able to put a total of 2 tags on it, which is the maximum you can put on a mundane piece of equipment.
For the love of all that is Thor's hammer. Seven successes.
Oh,
Nice. That brings you over the finish line. So what we're going to do at this point, you both have the maximum available successes to craft your items. So we're going to take a quick break. Take 5 for bio and techno needs, and then
How many did we need, by the way, for the milestone?
It's
3, 4?
5 per milestone.
And we just I see.
'Cause
The
you were
more
going
magical,
for-
the more.
Right.
Ooh,
So the more complicated the item is, the higher the milestone value.
lucky. All right.
So yeah, you made it with flying colors. So we're gonna take a quick 5 for bio and techno break, and then when we return from the biotechno, we will. I know, Kev.
I got 7.
But yeah,
I was gonna say, did the anvil kill us?
nope.
How'd you do it?
How'd
you do it?
The anvil
Nice.
and the mundane piece of technology both had maximum results. So when we get back, we will assign tags to those, and then finish out the Kalm season. So if you're watching this live, hang out. We'll be back in just a few moments. If you're watching this in VOD, just hit fast forward to see our pretty faces again, and we'll see you then. Stick tight. And while you're waiting for us to return, head over and support Act the Gates over on BackerKit. I'm going to throw that link in the chat. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Onyx Path Twitch. I'm going to try to start saying that now instead of saying the whole freaking address. So, welcome back to the Onyx Path Twitch. If you're just joining us, we are in the midst of the world below, Delve and Dig, Session 5, our first Kalm.
Hasn't been very calm.
It has not been calm, though. It has been a calm
What?
season.
Who would have thought?
Calm with a K.
Just before we went on our break,
Yeah.
we
Mortal Kombat.
Mortal
Stop
Kombat.
reading my mind. Stop reading my mind.
I'll have to mention
Maya
that.
Angelou's Mortal Kombat calm.
I'll have to mention that
Embrace your calm.
around the office next time I talk to folks. So, you called it Mortal Kombat.
I love it.
So we just before the break we did some crafting rolls, and all the results are in. They were as good as one could hope for these. So in the Zoom chat, I've gone ahead and added the equipment tags. These are for tools specifically, as the majority of you were working on an anvil, basically an anvil, to help with the crafting, whereas Stropharia, you were building like a flag or like a banner, so a symbol, something that could symbolize the settlement and perhaps help it draw strength. And I think you'll find in the list of tags that I've provided you, those are all well represented. Now, with a mundane item, the only tags that you're able to really choose would be exceptional, expendable,
Fragile.
eye-catching, fragile, or huge. I would assume that you would want to look at eye-catching.
Yeah, I added that.
That is handy. If you would like to make exceptional, you could give it everything has to have an enhancement. So you want to give it the +1 enhancement that the tool has, and then you have 2 additional slots. So you could go eye-catching,
just huge, just the biggest banner.
You could go eye-catching
So big.
and expendable. You could go huge. That is an option too. What are you thinking tags wise for the flag?
I can do exceptional too.
Yeah. So you get 3 points to spend. You have to spend one of them at least on enhancement. But you could have enhancement 1, exceptional, and eye-catching.
Yeah, that's what I want to do.
All right, so go ahead and make a note of that. And if you're feeling flossy, before now and next session, you can sketch out what it looks like for us, or
Ooh.
Okay.
I'm
that is-
expecting like the best crayon,
right.
like stick figure.
I'm an artist.
Like, welcome.
Welcome. It's just like 2 guys holding hands. And stuff.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
There's no sun, but whatever.
Now, as for the anvil, the bright side is you have 5 tags you can use, and you have the full gamut. The downside is you only have 5 slots, so your maximum total of enhancement and tags is 5.
Did me rolling 7 at the end matter, or was it just meter beat 5?
It was meter beat. You can't get, so you hit caps. Is what it boils down to, right?
If one of us had rolled only 4, then the whole thing would have just.
Not necessarily. You can make a second swipe if you have time. You can make a second pass at a milestone, which you did because you had relegated yourself to only 1 scene per milestone, so you'd have had time to go back and try it again.
Okay.
But the risk there being that if you fail it, you botch the whole thing.
Okay, well, it sounds like this is going to be exceptional.
Mhm.
Okay. I would say maybe you might want to go with huge.
I was going to say huge. Because it's this tool cannot be transported without the presence of a number of people equal to its size, between 1 and 5, and increasing the difficulty by +1 for each advantage starting at 1.
Right. And so the other thing that would be cool about that, if you give it huge, that also means that it has durability advantage according to its size. So it's harder to be damaged. Like even if people rush in and try to make it harder to steal, make it harder to be damaged.
Do we need multiple ones into huge?
Was
Depends on how big you want to make it.
Was Chaos Bound an option?
Yes.
Well,
yeah. Anything that's in that
'cause
list
Chaos
you
Bound.
can do.
Because I mean, we want a magic anvil. It seems like that's the magic in the anvil. This tool is made of
Imbued?
chaos or is imbued by chaos in some way. This tool can be used to grant its enhancement to the use of sorceries. I guess Keobaka machinery. Is that how you say it? Keobaka?
Yeah.
Every time I see that, I think like Quebecois.
It's pronounced Quebecois.
Quebecois. Yeah, see?
You're
That's
not,
number
you're not
eight
the
on
first.
the
You're not the
pronunciations
first
I've heard.
person, nor will you be the last to make that association.
I
Yeah.
only made that joke every single
I'm
session. Don't worry about
Still
it.
trying to figure out how to pronounce it, and I've been playing this character for a while.
I would say.
Instead of Chewbacca, it's Kubaka.
it's Kubaka. Yeah.
I thought
Kubaka, the
it
co-pilot
Kubasa.
of the Millennium Falcon.
And if it's something of Chewbacca, it's Kubakoi.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would recommend also looking at the rugged tag.
How about rugged, chaos bound, huge, and exceptional?
That would be fine, and that would give you your so Kabaka, rugged, chaos bound, huge, and exceptional. That's your full 5. So you need to spend at least 1 on having an enhancement.
What did we actually want Kubaka machinery?
I mean, if it's animated,
Oh, it
you get
uses
more
chaotic
use out of it.
energy as a power source. Okay, yeah. You're right.
That's pretty cool.
I think that's all 5. It's difficult to break or destroy because
Right.
it's rugged.
But you'll need to have at least 1 raw enhancement, and you'll have 5
right.
total you can use.
So we got
So
to
you
give
have to
something up.
pick which one of those you want to get rid of. I would say in that case, if you want to keep everything else, getting rid of the exceptional because you still have the 1 tag. You know what I mean?
It's an additional +1 enhancement to its action. Well, yeah, that's the most boring of them. It just gives an additional enhancement. So it's like +1 success, right?
Yeah, exactly. Which you already have the 1 core enhancement of it.
That's right.
So
Yeah.
Do sorceries count in enchanting an object made on the anvil?
yes, if that sorcery would go into that object.
Right. Okay. I just want to be 100% sure that this isn't like
Chaos Bound
is
wasn't a
meant for-
waste of.
Right. Like, is it something where like it's for a staff or a wand? to
Let
cast
me double
spell?
check something because I think actually the downside of Chaos Bound. I think there's a downside to Chaos Bound. Let me look at that real quick.
It calls you mean names.
Hey, okay.
Every
Joke's
time
on
hit-
you. I'm
every
into
time-
that.
Every time you hit it, it begs you to stop.
Oh, that's terrible. It hurts. Oh God.
Oh, that
King.
is right.
The
Okay.
anvil of Agony. That's some 3.5 crap right there.
So the
That is very 3 point.
now that I'm looking at it, I would actually recommend against using Chaos Bound because anything that's small enough to carry that's Chaos Bound is immediately destroyed when you use it for enhancement. Larger
Oh.
things are destroyed slowly as you use them for enhancement.
That would have been good to know.
Yep.
Okay.
So not Chaos
looking out.
Bound.
Yeah, so I would say lose the Chaos Bound, keep the exceptional. So you're looking at a +2 enhancement with the anvil. And then you've got the huge, so it's a little bit harder for people to damage or run off with. You got the and the cool thing about the Kabaka machinery is that you can let it auto run, which makes for
So rugged,
being able to make more shit.
Kubaka machinery,
Mm-hmm.
huge,
Mm-hmm.
And then exceptional.
and exceptional.
Big, beautiful, automated magic anvil. We're just playing V Rising now, ain't we?
Rugged, magic, huge, and exceptional.
Masculine.
All
has,
right.
has someone written down the anvil stats, or do you need me to?
Here we go, Anvil stats.
I appreciate you. So that completes our crafting phase. We now have a 90 at the end of the Kalm. You'll have a nice, shiny, new, improved anvil that will be difficult to steal, difficult to damage, create very strong work, and can even run on its own once Althea puts an instruction to it. So, good call.
And we got a cute banner.
Yeah,
Which
and you have
actually brings up an important point.
yes.
How can we have an awesome banner for this place? And this place doesn't even have a name.
We do need to name the settlement. That is true. Has
What
anyone
was the
given any
name?
thought?
What was the name of the girl who died?
Oh, good call.
Better than Bunga's Remorse, which is what I was.
Geltham. So, like Geltham's Rest might be cool.
Ooh, Geltham's Rest.
That's just what I was thinking.
Oh, that's cute.
Perfect.
Geltham's Garden.
No, you can call
However,
it Geltham.
However, the gate that Bunga came through should be called Bunga's
Oh,
Remorse.
the gate itself, yeah.
Meet me at Bunga's Regret.
Yes, we'll call the gate Bunga's
It
Remorse.
still has the dents in it from the
Over the
the
years,
monsters trying to break in.
Over the years, people have filled in the cracks of Bunga's Regret with melted metal and scrap. It's a work of art to commemorate a fool.
Oh, kind of
Thanks
like
for the
the
hydrate,
people the people that put the locks on like the bridge or like whatever.
Yes.
Yep.
People come and like melt down
So is
like
it
trinkets or broken weapons or like
Every-
whatever onto
Every
it.
time Bunga fucks up and gets the gate further cracked, you
Oh,
fill it
shit.
in with the remains of something lost.
Bunga's Remorse or Bunga's Regret? What are we calling this gate?
Nobody can agree on it, and that's a constant cultural
Yep.
curiosity.
Bunga's Remorse / Regret
Yeah.
/ Oops. Meet me at
Yep.
Bunga's Oops. Yeah. All right. So the settlement is Geltham's Rest.
Oh, and there's a little plaque beside it. And in quotes, it just says, "Everybody run."
I thought it was gonna be like a number of days since last incident.
Number of days since. Oh, number of days since last Bunga.
There will be. I'll also add graffiti to the things that are special about the settlement. All right. So that completes the Kalm crafting stage, and then we get to finally the last and some might say most important aspect of Kalm. This is, my friends, where we get to spend experience points and we get to advance the characters. First off, you will determine, each of you gets to advance one path at no cost. If you choose to advance a dawn path, you will gain an additional momentum generator, a new 1-dot bond within the party, or add a dot to an existing bond, 3 dots to spend among your dawn skills, 2 dots of theses for which you meet the prerequisites. If your dawn is your major path, you get 3 instead of 2, and assign 1 dot or tag to a contact related to your dawn. If you choose to advance a dialectic path, you may spread 3 dots among your existing dialectic skills, take 2 dots of syntheses for which you meet the prerequisites, or if dialectic is your major path, take 3 dots instead of 2, and assign 1 dot to a tag or contact related to your dialectic. Or if you advance the calling path, you get 3 dots among your calling skills, 2 dots of sorceries for which you meet the prerequisites. And if calling is your major path, you get 3 dots instead of 2, and assign 1 dot or tag to a contact related to your existing calling. So, with that in mind, let's go with Cal. What would Bunga like to advance?
Okay, so dawn is what? That's
So dawn is your ancestry or settlement, all that stuff pulled together.
Okay. Let's go calling hunter. That's my primary.
That is your primary. All right.
Yeah.
So you can take 3 dots worth of wisdoms,
3 dots worth of
sorceries, I should say.
sorceries.
You have 3 dots to spend in your hunter skills.
Of sorceries. 3 dots in hunter skills.
He's already up there.
And then 1 dot or a tag to contact.
1 dot or 1 tag to contact.
And that's what you get for that advancement. Crow. What would you like to advance?
Probably gonna advance my dialectic.
All right. So you get 3 dots in your dialectic skills. Is your dialectic your major path or your minor path?
Major path.
Then you get 3 dots in syntheses as well. And,
Cool.
and a dot and a tag. How about Haley? Oyster Fairy.
Calling.
Calling? Is that your major path or your minor path?
It's a minor path.
All right, so you get 2 dots in sorceries, 3 dots in calling skills, and a dot in a or a tag related to your contact.
All right.
2 dots in sorceries.
Yep. Yeah, 2 dots in sorceries if calling is your minor path, yeah.
Okay.
And then how about for Kelzul?
So if it's a major path, you get more stuff, and if it's minor, you get less, or how did that
Yeah,
work?
basically you get 1 additional dot if it's your major path that you're advancing.
Okay.
And that would be in theses if it's your dawn, syntheses if it's your dialectic, and sorceries if it's your calling.
I'm gonna go with a minor and go with my calling of alchemist.
Right. So you get 2 dots of sorceries, 3 dots of skills, and a dot added to a tag.
So
A dot or
2
tag
dot-
added to a contact,
Sorry, that was 2 dots of sorceries.
and 3 dots of calling skills.
Okay.
The other thing that you can do is you can raise with experience points that you've amassed.
Quick question. When you say 3 dots, does that mean 1 to each of the skills, or can you put all 3 in one?
You can put all 3 in 1 skill as long as you don't exceed the 5 dots of skills.
Wow.
Spend it however you
Okay.
want among those skills.
I mean, that's really generous, which I like, but I worry about. Okay. Cool. Yeah.
And then I'm going to go ahead and pop the experience chart in the chat as well, because you can purchase things individually, like a la carte with experience as well. So the number at the end is per dot, basically. Let me know if that's confusing when you get it in the chat. But to break it down for you, adding a dot in a new or existing skill costs 3 experience. Adding a dot to a single attribute costs 6. Adding a dot or tag to a contact costs 2. Purchasing a new dot of a thesis is 4, and as well as a synthesis. And purchasing a new dot of a sorcery is 5. Now, you can mix and match those. So, for example, if you have, if you wanted to say, for example, spend 3 dots out of your path advancement on sorceries, you can then buy the 4th dot. You can throw in that 5 experience and get that up to the 4th dot. So you'd be able to buy a sorcery at level 4. Make sense?
This is the boring part of the stream where we're all looking at books.
That's okay.
No, I mean, for the audience, I'm having a ball.
Already start. He went back and double.
So does anyone have any questions about those expenditures, I guess, first?
So your thesis and synthesis, they still have to align to your calling, dialectic.
Yeah, you have to meet the
etc.
prerequisites for it.
Right.
Yeah, he ran through it, closed it behind him.
I cannot wait to get the book of this. There's so much cool stuff in here. I don't mean to like shill. It's
Oh,
just
by all
so
means,
cool.
chill away.
You go through a book and just every page you're like, I want that and I want that and I want that. And God damn it. That's a wonderful problem to have.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's I've said publicly on a number of occasions, and I will continue to say publicly, my absolute favorite tabletop role-playing game of all time is They Came from the Cyclops' Cave, and nothing's probably ever going to change that. But The World Below is a very, very, very close second. I really love this system and setting.
When it says wisdom, what is that?
Your wisdoms are are the category of sorcery. So Hunter have Shikar as your wisdom.
Okay, so then there's no. I have dots in sorcery that I got from taking that, but there's no.
Oh my god.
There's no sorceries I can take.
What?
I'm looking at least I'm looking at the ash can.
Oh no! You're gonna want to look at the big sorceries chapter.
Hmm.
Do you lack the big sorceries chapter?
Actually, let me check. Big sorceries chapter.
Should be.
Which number is it here? I have thesis and synthesis and chaotic sorcery. Which one would that be under?
It's the chaotic sorceries is your is where you find your sorceries at.
Okay.
So
Shikar. Okay, there we go.
yep, you're looking for anything of the Shikar wisdom. And you have how many dots to spend?
3.
Yeah, there are some. So aggravate wounds is a level 3 one, which is pretty gross. Trying to look what else.
Okay.
They're 3 dot.
Aggravate wounds. Beastmaster's Eye.
Yes. Yeah, you can, and so you could take like 2 and a 1, or again, if you have the 5 XP to dump, you could take a 2 and a 2, or you could, if you have the 5 XP to dump, you could take a 4.
Hmm.
The biggest thing is you have to have the prerequisites.
How much XP did we have? I never wrote any of that down, apparently.
Everybody else can correct me if I'm wrong, but you should have about 4 per session that you've attended.
Don't know why, but I don't have.
Uh,
It says 11 XP for me.
Yeah, that
I'm
sounds
not sure if we all
about
have
right.
the same.
It sounds about right.
17.
17.
Because I
Who's-
did a bunch of goals and stuff.
Right, and
okay.
that, and I don't think we've run a game that Haley hasn't been at. So yeah, with your 11, if you wanted to just go whole hog into sorceries, you basically would have 5 dots worth of sorceries you could buy.
Beastmaster's Lash.
It requires a combat at 4 and a presence at 3. Um, but yeah, you can shut down an antagonist's powers.
Interesting.
Basically, like you're like, oh, you can't spit acid anymore.
So that was fresh. Let's see, Armament of Darkness is a synthesis. A new synthesis is 4, and that's 4 per dot, right?
Correct.
Okay, that will take every XP I have very elegantly to get Armament of Darkness,
Okay.
which just feels like meat and potatoes a smart thing to take.
Yeah, it's so good. It's so good. You get 6 injury boxes, which remain until destroyed, damaged with a weapon of the Dreamcasted tag, or until you receive the taken out status effect. You can also summon this onto another person,
Yeah, this is
but you can only summon it once a session.
yeah, but hopefully we only have one circumstance like that per session.
Right.
Okay, yeah, that was quick and easy.
How much is it to raise an attribute?
Attributes are
6.
6 XP per dot.
Could raise my presence to 3 and have monstrous kinship. And then I'll be the face of the party.
At least the dogs like you.
And the bugs.
That's right. I don't know if we have dogs in this setting.
I mean,
They're
they're
giant beetles.
dog-like creatures.
See, that doesn't sound good. When you say it like that, it sounds bad.
Oh.
You got dogs? We have dog-like creatures.
You've
I don't want
dog-like
that.
creature.
I would like to just point out there's one. The monstrous kinship allows you to give creatures the crestfallen status, and that might be like there's a lot of things in this game that I contributed that I am very proud of. The crestfallen status effect is kind of the thing that I'm possibly proudest of. Due to extreme sadness, malaise, guilt, or fear, the character is socially overwhelmed. All social actions against the character gain 1 social advantage.
Travis, I'm trying to escape my life here.
That's neck and neck with what is the Escape the Bonds of Flesh is the other thing I absolutely love that I built.
Is that the one where you animate someone's skeleton against their will?
Yes.
Do they have to be dead?
They are by the time it's done.
It'll make them dead. It's like steal and animate skeleton would be how
Right.
I define it.
Right. You like grab their face and you're like, get over here. And their skeleton walks out of their flesh. And
Should I
becomes your
take
servant.
monstrous kinship or soothe the wild?
Ooh.
Soothe the Wild sounds like a get out of trouble move.
Yeah.
So you shouldn't take it. That's against your concept.
Oh.
No, take it.
Yeah, I mean it gives you advantage on creatures that don't have the feral quality and lets you make social rolls against creatures who do have the feral quality, which is very
Whereas
handy.
otherwise yeah.
Right, because if a creature has the feral quality and you don't have that power, you're up the creek. There's just
I'm
nothing
gonna
you can
take
do.
Soothe the Wild. Yeah.
Well, I
For
can't
the
talk
record,
to it.
Cal. For the record, Cal, I only poke fun because you are
How
a great
dare.
sport and I love playing with you.
How dare you soothe the Kevin?
Fair. If
you.
I ever tease anybody too hard, let me know, please.
I'm certainly
I'll own and apologize.
I'm certainly will speak up if the need should arise. So did you?
No, I know. I'm taking Soothe the Wild. That costs 3, and that was my
So that's
that was from our free.
from
I
your
chose Hunter,
advancing.
yeah.
Okay. And did you raise the skills that you got for that as well?
The skills.
Yeah, because you get 3 dots in
yes,
skills.
I took 2 dots of pilot maxed out my survival.
Nice.
Look out, I'm gonna bug ride. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna 3 dots of pilot.
Does
Yeah.
pilot also help you like train pets?
Yes, and like
Cool.
anything that would be considered a mount.
It's the closest I can come to having a critique of the game. Is I wouldn't have called it pilot.
Yeah,
That's-
that's fair.
That's as close as I can
And
get to a critique.
I
and
think
that's
there
not
might have been
much.
some discussion about should this be ride, should this be pilot, yada yada yada.
Sure, or like
But-
animal ken.
Right, but well, you
it
use
covers
norm-
a broad, like the skills are very broad, and I kind of actually like that.
Yeah, because like you don't have like animal ken so much as like you make persuasion checks against animals, but they have
That
certain
makes sense.
Instead of just magically having a skill that just makes animals like you.
right.
Yeah.
I like that more, that like each animal is an interaction rather than just going, well, I have 5 dots in animal ken,
Well,
so
And the other thing about that is that like certain animals, like with the feral tag and stuff, like right, like if animals have that quality, you can't just rely on social stuff. You have to rely on sorceries effectively to be able to reach them socially.
We just had a microcosm of the debate you had in design, didn't we?
No, that's sort of a little bit. I mean, I wasn't like that particular thing I wasn't directly involved in, but I can imagine that was the conversation.
I'm sold. I see the wisdom of it now.
Yeah.
all
What was our
right.
party's goal again?
It was to escort the lady whose name I never remember, Athanasia.
Athlana, yeah.
Athlana.
Yes, I mean now it's to build the settlement, I would assume.
So we
Yeah.
accomplished that goal, I guess.
Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, you know what? I'll go ahead and give you all, because that was
How much were skills?
Oh, I got it right here. Skills are 3. Attributes are 6. Contacts are 2. Thesis and synthesis are 4. Sorcery is 5.
so. And actually, I'll give each of you 3 additional experience points because you have in fact met that party aspiration. You'll just need to come up with a new one now.
Oh, sweet.
Ooh.
So have 3 more XP.
Super cool. That's
Thank
an
you for
extra
bringing
skill
that
dot.
to my attention, Haley, because I flat out forgot about it.
So when getting thesis or synthesis, it's like 4 per dot.
Right.
Okay.
So by a level 3 synthesis is 12 experience points.
But Travis was explaining to me earlier, you know, that free kind of level up we got, right?
Uh-huh.
I got 3 dots in sorceries, right? If
Right.
I spent 5 XP, that would bring me to buy a 4 dot
Right.
sorcery,
Because the
or 10
experience,
XP for a 5 dot sorcery.
right? Because the experience expenditures in this aren't scaled at the level, right? It's not like current rating times something. You're just buying per dot as a flat fee.
Ah, okay.
No multipliers.
Right.
And
No
you can
multiples.
add that to what you got for free when you chose your either like
Oh.
calling or so I got 3 dots in sorceries. I can allot those however I want, like buy a 2 dot and a 1 dot with it, or I could put those 3 dots, spend 5 dots, spend 5 XP and like grab that 4 dot like sorcery.
Yeah.
Or 10 and grab a 5
As long
dot
as you
one.
meet the prereqs for it. That's the other
Prerequisites,
that's-
which are often
yeah.
which is why I'm raising my presence and
Yeah.
empathy. Look out. Here I
The
come.
race is
Yeah.
on.
They and they
On the
feel
face of the party, I am.
right. And some of
I've
those prereqs
I've
might
got suspenders now.
nice. That's your that's your costume change.
What
for
are they
Kalm.
made
That's
of?
what,
One of the
you don't want to know.
No.
and that's one of the
Regret.
things. Like when you're looking through sorceries, like when you're first shopping for sorceries, some of the prerequisites might seem a little punishing. But remember, when you go through your first calm and you advance that path, you're getting 3 dots in skills, which will often be the difference between where you were at as a starting character and where you need to be to hit that prereq.
Yeah.
most of this is going, ooh, this requires like presence 3, or oh, I need to put like culture up for like this. And I like that all the cool stuff that you want to do is like listed there, and you're going, okay,
Right.
It does help you
I
kind
need
of
to be a
roadmap
man
your
of
advancement.
culture in order to
A pro tip for anybody who's going to play this: you're going to want to keep notes on what your primary, secondary, major, minor stuff was, because the sheet does not have a thing that says.
Well, and the sheet that you have right
asterisks,
now
baby.
is the thing that we put together during the crowdfunding campaign for actual players to use. That is not the final sheet. I assure you, it will look and be
Good night, buddy.
more utilitarian.
I thought about getting a new thesis, but you know what? Well, actually, I kind of need some more skills and attributes, so I might focus on that.
Presence 2 to 3.
How about you, Haley? How's your expenditures coming along?
Good. I just realized that some of the chaos sorceries still have those prerequisites, so I had to change mine.
Well, don't forget you have that extra 3 XP that you fished out too. So that might change some things. I'm not sure, but yeah.
So I have
Yeah, it's all about like, I like it too because I think there's a Conan game that's like this. You spend XP in like downtime sessions, and what I like about this, I haven't quite encountered that right like fit, but the right fit for me is there's all this project time, right? And that's also when you spend XP. So spending XP, you might be like, oh, I want this or this. Maybe I'll just put up what I need for this and then plan for like the next calm.
Right. Yeah, and that's very much how
Oh,
this
and
is
also
designed.
there's a time for projects.
Right.
Things confuse me in other games. I'm gonna say for Exalted, projects are happening in the background, or
Right.
when the group decides to stop and do projects. And I like it when it's like it forces the PCs into a place.
And the
And then
narrative,
it's like, and now you have to do the project.
right? And the narrative reasoning behind it, the reason why you can't do a crafting project and you can't do calm activities and you spend XP and all this stuff happens during calm, is that theoretically the rest of the time when you're out in the world below, it's too fucking dangerous to try to sit around and like, you know, you don't have the spare time between all the trying not to die. You know?
Well, that's NPCs. It's kind of like with any game, whenever it's like, all right, I'm gonna take crafting charms and Exalted. No, you're not. The NPC you leave at town is gonna take the crafting charm. I'm sorry, I'm saying it. I know that I know this is the the Onyx Path channel, but like very much that kind of thing needs to be like project time. And like I said, this makes everybody have a collaborative project time that feels so much better than other systems.
I'm pushing really hard for something like that in Shadowrun when we get to another day. Oh, I think downtime is so important to games, and a lot of them just steamroll right through it. I want the stress and pressure
world
from
building
Blades in the Dark and
Yeah.
the crafting, repair, and buying stuff and fencing stuff time. I think that's it builds story. Everybody's like, I just want to jump to the next adventure. No, I
And
kind
one
of want to
thing-
have a career.
Right.
Yeah, and one thing that I like that I've been doing in my Exalted games or my whatever games is the group will have a base. Maybe in Exalted, it's like a moving castle or like a giant like Magitech ship or whatever. And in this, there being a base is
Right. And now in most games,
built into the game.
It's a point of investment.
right. And in
Yeah.
most games, you might say, we're going to operate out of Silver's Hearth and we're going to go dig. And when we know Kalm is on the way, we're heading back to Telver's Hearth. What we've done differently here, and what I find exciting about it, is that we have decided as a group to create a settlement of our own. So that I think offers some more investment too for the players, because you care what happens to this place a little bit more than you might to some town that you show up at, that you can
Well,
ultimately leave. You know,
I imagine that you could have like an enterprise within an existing settlement, like a tavern
absolutely.
or a smithy or whatever. So it's a question of scale, which I definitely think is really cool.
Yeah, you absolutely can. You can absolutely say like, I want to try to build a business. I want to run an inn in Telver's Hearth. That's a totally valid, like, calm activity kind of deal.
Well, let me simp for this game one more time. I love that that's built right into the core book. You don't have to wait for an expansion to build a kingdom like this. Nope, it's right
And-
there, meat and potatoes first serving.
And I would like to point out that in terms of crafting and in terms of downtime activities and in terms of advancement, a lot of this is the same bones that At the Gates uses. So I would once again remind you
I'm
that
gonna go
if
check
you've not
this
yet
out.
done so, go and back it. I got to play last week in the Ashcan adventure for At the Gates,
Oh,
and it really feels like the perfect marriage of a JRPG and a tabletop game. Like it lent itself well to while we were doing combat, like we felt the same, like down to like this is the part where we do jumping jacks and music plays in the background because we just fucking won. You know?
100 times gravity. Ah!
Yeah, it's really it hats off to Danielle because she really hit, and all the authors that worked on it, but from a development perspective, she really hit that feeling. It's really cool, and it uses this system, which I adore.
I gotta look into that. I gotta find out who's got the current license for Conan because that's on my list of.
I believe
people I'm trying to
Modifius.
It looks like it, but when I go to their website, they don't have anything listed.
Hmm.
So it's a little limbo to me. It's
Who
not
knows?
quite clear.
Interesting.
I think I got mine.
What's up?
Did we get all of our
Oh,
stuff?
I got mine. So I'm done.
You got yours?
I'm
Dope.
done.
Yeah.
Does anybody have any expenditures left?
No,
All right.
Should we
Let's
talk about what we took?
let's go around and pick what we and talk and run through what we picked up. Kevin, you can go ahead and start.
Sure. I took Armament of Darkness. That's, I mean, the mage who doesn't have mage armor is a fool. And I pumped up my enigmas to 5, and I put an extra dot into technology. And it's about it, actually. Yeah.
That's cool. How about for Haley? What'd you wind up settling on for Stropharia?
For everything all together, I added a dot in medicine, couple in persuasion, 1 in culture. And I got some more sorceries, restore flesh and holy ground.
Nice. Both very handy. Holy Ground is sick because that's when we're like, you can basically say in this area, everybody who I've blessed gets an enhancement. Everybody who I haven't gets a complication.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that. Here we go.
Yeah. So you can
And then
turn
the other
any
one's-
battlefield into a home field advantage for you. What was that?
Yeah. And the other one deals with more with status effects, so
Right,
it's something
which is-
we're missing.
Very cool to have. Rock and roll. Crow, what did you settle on?
Well, first I advanced my dialectic. I beefed up the long range to max.
Nice.
Gave myself a little bit more science and stuff. But I focused mostly on getting skills instead of buying new thesis. So beefed up survival science and close combat. I figured he's been training with Bonga.
That works. That's dope. I dig it.
He's been near Bunga.
And how about
That too.
what did Bunga raise, by the way?
you're training with Bunga? All right. All right. So I the kind of like ain't free increase we got. I chose my hunter calling, and the 3 dots of sorceries. I chose. Where are you?
That was my bad.
I chose Soothe the Wild. So that makes feral animals that you can't even like interact with. It takes away that tag. So technically, doesn't mean they're not hostile or whatever, but you can at least I can at least try to influence them.
Right, you can reach them. Yeah.
Exactly.
Like what I've got with
Um,
dead people.
And yeah, and the 3 dots and hunter skills I put into pilot. So look out. I'm going to have a giant beetle familiar soon.
Nice.
Now watch as
Oh.
the next session there isn't a single animal.
Oh, but don't forget the swarm's call
Yeah.
or the bug talker thesis and synthesis.
Yeah.
I can make them.
Bunga can make sure animals
Nice.
show up.
I can make
awesome.
sure, for better or worse, I can bring the bugs to the yard.
Dope.
And I have another contact in my calling, which I haven't written any of them down. I'm sure that's important, but I'll figure it out when I
Feel
can.
free between now and the next session to figure out context. The last thing that you all need to do is increase a bond or add a bond if you don't have it to one of the other characters. And this is something that we as a group all need to work to remember because I keep forgetting to do it. When you are working together with somebody that you share a bond with, you can claim enhancement based on that bond.
I don't have any bonds written down.
You should
in there,
have,
so maybe I missed.
Each of you should have a level 2 bond to one other character and a level 1 bond to the others.
Oh, I'm completely missed us workshopping, or maybe I missed session 1, or I don't know because I have nothing down in the bonds. But I remember playing it on Dorktail's channel, workshopping that at the beginning, being like, okay, you're the +1 and you're a +2, and I don't have any of that down
My
here.
apologies to the sound department.
I think one of the sessions we increased our bond.
Mm-hmm.
I have Bunga as 2, and then Savo as 2.
That's quite possible. And you can
Oh,
also
yes, too. Amazing.
you can also take that additional bond and add it to one of the SGCs. So if you wanted to say have a level 1 bond with Athlana or M, you could build that instead of adding to one of your existing bonds.
And
Can
I had,
you
yeah,
write
and I had
your
a bond with the nieces, but one of them's dead now.
Okay. So if you want,
Can you write your characters' names in the chat so I can copy and paste them? Not only so I spell them right, but also so that they're in the bonds and I'll remember them.
And the last thing, once we've got the bonds settled, the last thing that you will all remember and write down and have on your character as a result of completing your first Kalm is that you all have the refreshed status effect.
Right. Oh, it's just like when you rest at a home or an inn in Skyrim.
Yeah.
Right. You get +1 enhancement on all actions until the status effect ends. And it ends after you've taken your third action or after the first session of adventuring, whichever comes first.
Refreshed. Neat.
So what do your bonds look like after the Kalm? I guess we'll Kevin.
Okay, so we had a +2 and then +1/+1 with each other.
Right. And
I
then
just, yeah, okay.
go ahead. Haley,
That was
what do
the
you got?
base, I mean, right?
Yes, that's the starting level. Then you get one more you can add wherever. So Kevin, what did you do with your bonds?
I've got Stropharia at 2, Savo at 1, Bunga at 2, and Athlana at 1.
And do you have any descriptors for those? If not, you can choose them between now and next session.
With Stropharia, it's balance. With Savo, it's almost like reliable. Bunga is I put fool, but there's affection there.
right.
And Athlana, I put patron.
Beautiful. Yes, Crow.
One session, and I don't know if anyone recorded it, but it happened when Stephoria did like a chaos roll,
Yes.
or Bunga did a chaos roll. Somebody did the chaos roll, and it increased everyone's bond.
Okay. That explains the higher bonds.
really?
Yep.
But
So
there should have been
everybody
an extra one.
everybody should have
for
one
that session.
higher
Yeah.
than what was listed. Yep.
Oh,
okay.
dang. Okay.
So add
Oh,
one more, or
was
add
that
a
the
whole
session
layer
I
to it?
wasn't at, or was that the session before?
The session
No.
what's it?
It was the one where Cal was there, but Kevin wasn't there. I
Okay.
remember that.
But all the characters were present in the scene though. So
Is that when I broke out in
your
hives?
initial bonds, your bonds to one another,
Maybe.
should all go up by one.
I kind of remember that.
Yes.
Yeah, it was a chaotic retaliation.
Yeah.
So it's
I'm sure
3,
Bunga
2,
had
3, 2
something to
then.
do with chaos, but so did
That's why my
Faria has a lot of.
Because there's also a chaotic retaliation that you can wind up with that destroys all your bonds.
that's why Kevin's
just
at
drops them
one.
all
I
to
think
zero.
he was away that session, but yeah.
Yep. So yeah, it should be 3-2, 3-2, or whatever.
Okay.
All right.
All right, so yeah, where were we? Kevin described his.
Yep. So what are yours currently? Then are you still working on yours, Cal?
Yeah.
So what are yours currently, Crow?
If it's 3, 2, 3, 2, I think I have Strofe at 3. I have Cal at 3, Bunga at 2.
That's confusing. Kale is manga. What?
Ale.
Hail.
Kale. Oh,
Kale.
Kale.
Kalzul, my
Yeah,
bad. Kalzul at 3.
Well, he's only
Bunga
my
at 2.
father calls me Kale.
I increased it with Athlana.
Beautiful.
Increased it with.
Rock and roll. And do you have any descriptors for those bonds or not yet?
I gotta rewrite them, but because the bonds have changed, so I'll get back to you on that.
Okay, no worries. How about for Haley? What are Strafaria's current bonds?
Stavo's at 2, Kale's at 1, Bunga's 2, and then is her name Aradia? The other niece?
Aradia, yeah, that's the one that died. Sorry.
Oh. What was the other one? What's her name?
The survivor is no, I'm sorry.
That's the one that died.
Aradia is the one that lived. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So yeah, that's good. You're in good shape. Yeah, because
She-
Geltham's the one that died. Hence the name of the town. Geltham's right.
Yeah, okay. So I put her at 2, and then the bond nature, I'm very protective of her,
Love it.
if that works.
Love it.
I don't know.
All right, and then Cal, did you get yours sorted out? All right, what do we got?
All right, I have Kale Zool at +2. And the bond nature is scary wizard.
That's fair.
A fair assessment.
Maybe those are supposed to be defined more like a relationship, but I wrote them in character.
That's fine.
I treat it as like
Not as a bad thing. Like scary
perspective-
wizard as
who doesn't
He's
want a
the
scary
scary
wizard
wizard.
on their side?
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
Why would you not want a scary wizard?
I think the
Um,
tag is what you think of them. Kind of like a
Yeah,
web of
exactly.
intrigue.
That's how I wrote it. Yeah. Salvo is +2. And I have as fighty.
Fighty.
He's very good at fighty close. And so I wrote fighty far. Um,
Perfect.
he doesn't understand fighty far, but gosh dang it. That scary elf, he good at fighty far. And that's +2. I have Stropharia as +3.
Ooh,
And I just wrote mum.
mum.
Like how I do his
That's
accent,
wholesome.
right? MUM.
That's so funny because
but
under
also
Bunga,
kind of-
I put teachable.
Oh, nice. It's adorable.
But also she's been very vocal about like no, like we're not like doing this thing. So he's kind of like coming around with okay, maybe he should listen to this this kind of thing.
Oh, cute.
But everyone was literally pulling him away when it was like, oh, hold on, I'm gonna go fight all these Rust Knights. But sometimes you look and you're like, clearly The storyteller wants us to go and fight these and explore this cave. So in character, I need to. There's positive metagaming.
I just want you to
And I know
understand.
for a fact
I want you to understand one thing. I will
that you
never
wanted us
fault
to
you
fight.
for. I will never fault you for running away in the world below. Never once.
Oh, never fault us. But
I'm not here to judge you.
all
I mean,
the
I'm
smart,
judging
all
you,
the
it's just not
smart
why I'm here.
people, all the smart people using their like rolls to like roll history. No one's ever fought a Rust Knight and survived, and now all of us did.
It's true.
And we have the axes, so maybe that can be the axes can be part of the banner.
Oh, nice. A pair of like crossed Rust Knight axes. That'd be dope. Big gnarly
Cool.
fucking pieces of metal on this stick.
Have them cross downward into the ground, indicating a finished
that
battle.
they've interesting.
Yeah, nice. And then
And
go ahead.
Athlana, I've got +2 and just got like gob pride.
Nice.
Represent.
Nice.
Yeah.
I love it.
You know, every time I see Bunga, I want to like play Fallout again with an int 1 character just for the elaborate dialogue with some characters.
And if you didn't know, there were special low int options and low charisma options. Highly recommend.
In Fallout 1, 2, and New Vegas.
2 is the best.
Interesting.
New Vegas has some pretty good.
Never played
You
it.
think?
Didn't
Sure.
know a thing about Fallout until I watched the show, but I may try it. I was aware it existed. That was really about it.
Fallout 2 is the earliest, just a guy, oh, me, you funny. But if you have low int, it's, hello, fellow purveyor of fine goods. What can I do for you this good day? In New Vegas, there's a junk who's like, bright lights. But if you have low int, he'll be like,
2 or 1.
Good day, my fair sir. I see you two are capable of a loquacious and efficacious manner of communication.
I never found him with my low int.
The rapscallions absconded that way, and if I may say, avoid the chemically driven fate which has taken me to this most unfortunate event.
Nice.
Fare thee well, fellow traveler.
Yeah, it's so good.
So
I found out about that last week, and I never found him.
just
My gun
to
character.
just to double check, did I get all of your? Did I get all of Strafaria's bond values? Do you have
think so.
teachable down for Bunga? What did you? And you have protective down for
Aradia.
Radia.
And,
What did you have for Kelzul and Sava?
Stavo, I bond nature. I just put admire,
Mm-hmm.
and then I put 2 for value.
Okay.
Kale, I put mysterious. She hasn't quite figured him out yet, and then value 1.
Nice. All right, rock and roll. On that bright shiny, then I think we will call it a night. We have completed our first Kalm. Congratulations. When we return in 2 weeks' time, yes? Are we on for 2 weeks from tonight?
I liked this.
Yeah, it was a lot of
Downtime
fun.
usually sucks
I was gonna
in
say,
games.
Yeah,
But
they-
this is
just a shopping list.
is this like winter in Game of Thrones? Like
Sorta.
it's a nebulous amount of time.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Like Calm could be 3 weeks or it could be like a year.
Yes, and it changes every time, and
Winter is coming. Could
right.
be 3 years till winter.
Right. And basically, you start
Love
to instinctively feel when Kalm is coming.
All denizens of the world below,
Yeah,
like
everybody can, like, the vibe is off. Like, as Kalm approaches. You very much get that sort of, like, sense of, like, oh, I better head for the hills.
It's like when the sun's coming up, the dew point changes, the ionization in the air's off. You can
Exactly.
smell it coming.
Exactly. Right on. Well, thank you so much, everybody who hung out and checked out this. Again, the Kalm season and the systems they're in are just another amazing thing about the world below. Highly recommend that you go pre-order if you've not yet done so. It is up on BackerKit. Also on BackerKit right now, we do have 7 days left in the campaign for At the Gates. Still have some stretch goals to unlock. Definitely go check that out. If you like this system and you like JRPGs, At the Gates is the game for you.
does At the Gates have similar system to World Below?
It's the same dice system. Like it's the Story Path Ultra system. Yeah.
Yeah.
The magic works radically differently. But like, for example, the world of At the Gates is the continent of Everend. There are 7 nations who are engaged in kind of an arms race because somebody started summoning creatures called daemons from an area called the Void, and using those daemons as sort of magical weaponry.
I'm sold.
So you have fucking summons, and you can absolutely get daemons as a player character.
Isn't Damon just how Americans mispronounce the way British people spell demons?
Yes.
Thank you. Whenever I see the AE thing, and I'm like, you don't pronounce it like, it's one of my pet peeves.
I don't
where I see
mind. I just
don't
like
care
to know
either.
that's where it's from.
but it's meant to be pronounced to Damon in this system.
Right.
I'm fine
and
with
so,
Plus
and,
10.
and
But your
so
British
you-
people are going to be like, oh, so demons then? It's like,
I don't know.
No.
I mean, you know, maybe
No,
Dawkins.
Cecil.
Maybe,
Bunga pronounces it Damon.
maybe Dawkins will correct me sometime.
Damon.
But no, it's they're summoned from the Void. I have a funny feeling that's the same Void.
the
Uh-oh.
Greek, Latin, AE, like smashed together.
The
If
Trinity
we
Continuum.
ever play test that on like on here, be hilarious if one of our characters were summoned.
I really thought
Just like Kyle Zool
one thing
shows
I've-
up and he's like, what the hell?
one thing I've thought about doing, like way down the road, like 3 or 4 kilometers
the
from
sun.
now, is like somehow lampoon you all on the surface and have it just be Everend.
I keep saying this game is so much like, okay, now all of a sudden my brain skitzes and I can't figure out what I was about to relate it to. But there
we
was
have to destroy the giant light in the sky.
we're not mind flayers, man.
Exactly.
But no, there's a couple other games where everything's underground, but this one, which of course I suddenly can't remember. Look in previous episodes, I won't shut up about it. But the very end of the game, everybody's underground because they think there's like an eternal darkness in winter. But when the game ends, the camera zooms out and you see the surface of the world, and that the sun is blotted out by a passing solar storm, basically like a nebula. And that's why there's darkness and it comes around every once in a while.
Nice.
But on the surface, you can see there are little tiny dotted lights, people who are still alive in the cold. And you're not down there. It's not the end of everything. You're just underground and don't know it. And I keep thinking, in this game, you get to the surface, who knows what's really up there?
It's true. Nobody can say for sure. It's
No, the
heretical
surface
to
is
think it's
hell.
good. Yeah,
It's,
it could.
Well,
I mean,
We haven't talked about it much on the show, and I don't want to yada yada like too long or whatever, but like there's not that many theologies in the world below that have a positive aspect of going up.
right.
and
They
I
all
kind of-
pretty much say that. Yeah, it's hell. There's one theology that's like, no, that's where we should.
I
go.
remember, yeah. I was
it's
like,
gonna,
no, I
it's gonna
went there
turn
last
out,
Tuesday.
It's got to turn out.
Isn't
This is
there-
all Metro Exodus, and like the surface.
I
is
knew
just
you were going to
America.
bring up Metro.
Well, I mean, yeah.
It's
But-
just really snowy.
On that bright shiny, we should wrap things up because we are a little bit
Yep.
over time. So real quick, let's do our outros if you don't mind. Let's kick it off with Kevin. Who you are, what you do, who you're playing, pronouns, promotion.
I am, have been, and remain, and shall be Kevin R. Zarnicki. He, him, playing Kalezul. He, him, necromancer. Also, Kalezul's a necromancer. You can reach me for all your needs for voiceover, game design, and teaching you how to get into both of those industries. The track record is incredible. I think around 95% right now of actually getting into the industry and doing the thing. I will introduce you to people. You can reach me at kevin.r.zarnicki@gmail.com. You can also maybe find me on Twitter if I bother with that anymore at necromancy101. I also masquerade as a target cart on Facebook, where people have actual conversations, even though the corporation remains just as evil, if not in different ways. Aside from that, keep your eyes open on Shadowrun. Again, we are dropping some fresh new product hot off the presses between Needle's Eye and Final Bets. which involves the European tour, the grand tour, kidnap rich people or bodyguard them or steal stuff from auction houses in Prague. In fact, I wrote the Prague section, so I especially hope you do that and let me know
Meet
how it goes
Banksy?
for you. I mean, Cyber Banksy or an AI that's
He's
based
an
on
AI.
Banksy or
Yeah.
something, probably at this point. But yes, if you use my obvious self-insert ego character Red, please let me know how it went and how you probably killed him. Everybody seems to. Aside from that, yeah, thanks for joining us. Having such a great time with this game and this group and this wonderful GM. Cannot be happier.
Thank you. Very kind. I greatly appreciate it, and thank you for being here. And Haley, if you could, please give us your pertinent details.
Yeah, my name's Haley, also known as Babe_Blade666 on the internet. I'm playing Stropharia, just like a cleric, mushroom head, kind of priestess person. Pronouns are she, her, same for me. Yeah, I've had a great time, and I really look forward to this game every time we play.
Well, thank
And-
you. That means a lot.
And it's really fun, and I like learning about the different things that can happen during gameplay and the different creatures that we encounter. I find it really.
And we've
That's-
only scratched the very surface. Believe me.
I know.
Next
Yeah, I
couple,
want to keep playing, and I want to.
next
yeah.
couple sessions, you'll get to see some real horrific shit.
Oh,
Look forward to it.
sweet.
Uh,
So, yeah, and I'm enjoying our group. So,
Oh, good. I'm glad. I'm very pleased that you're here. I missed your face, so it's good to have you back around. And speaking of faces I've missed, Crow, please, your pertinence.
Hello, hi, I'm Crow. I played Savo. Well, we're both he, it, but he's more he, it, they. He's an eldritch horror of an elf who's going to come up with some interesting stuff in the next few sessions, I think. So look out for that. I am not doing much. I mostly play with these guys and maybe some other channels pop up here and there. You'll catch me on an Onyx path in some form or capacity, if not behind the camera, on a show or something. I don't know. I have to talk to Travis about that later. But yeah, it's been fun. I love playing this. I look forward to it every couple of weeks. I've been jonesing for another session, so yeah, it's been amazing. It's been a blast.
I'm glad you've had a good time, and I've been chomping at the bit to get back to it, so I'm glad that we were able to. And last but most certainly not least, Cal, your pertinence, please.
All hail the well. I'm Cal, Neo Cal on Twitch and TikTok and Steam or whatnot. I usually podcast, Lasercomb podcast, Lazor. Like I'm a fire in my laser. You can tell how old I am from that reference. I do Too Much Energon podcast as well. If you like Transformers or don't like Transformers, that is there's some stuff there. We're doing Beast Wars 2nd, which is the Japanese anime of Beast Wars. It's not that good, so come and watch my soul die. If you wanna hear us talk about it. What else am I doing? Wednesday nights I am on Dork Tales. We're currently doing a Vampire the Masquerade Dark Ages game, and it has been revealed that my character is actually a Salubri.
I saw compliments on your makeup, by the way.
I have improved. I'm really happy with the last sessions, what I've done with the makeup. I'm very happy with it. So if you want to see, really open your third eye, but also be dead, come and check us out Wednesday nights. Onyx Path, I'm going to be running OPP Con. I'm going to be running They Came From Beyond the Grave. So maybe mummies, maybe zombies. Might be everything in between. Mummy zombies.
Do you know offhand what time you're running?
Yes, I do. Uno momento. I'll drop that right here. I am running boop 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 boo OPP Con 224 schedule. Where are you?
I was going to really make it complicated and be like, do you know what channel you're running on? In case you've never attended it before, that's all right. It's not a big deal. You can find the schedule over at theonyxpath.com. Go look at the Monday meeting notes. It's posted.
Yeah, it's there. Trust
and
me, I know.
If you've not attended OPPCon in the past, this channel is panels all weekend long. You can learn all the secrets about all the things that you might have been wondering about all year. You want to know what's going on with the Earthbane cycle? We have a panel. You want to know what's going on with that moth thing that keeps showing up all over the place? We have a panel for that. You want to learn about Trinity Continuum? Come hit the panel. Whereas we have 4 partner channels, Plastic Age Plays, which is my channel, Dork Tales, which is Dork Tales' channel, Rolling Nomads, and Simulacra TV. All are running actual plays that whole weekend. It's wall-to-wall programming, something for everyone. So definitely come check it out. You want to check the schedules. In previous years, we've had things siloed off kind of by game line for a number of reasons. That just didn't work this year. So you want to take a look at the schedule and see who is running what where. Definitely check those out.
I got it. Yeah, June 15th at 4:30 p.m. on Dork Tales channel. I'm running They Came From Beyond the Grave.
I think that's June 15th?
5th. I've got one that
unless
day, too.
they're wrong.
They might be wrong because June 14th is Friday. And we don't have anything going that day.
June 15th.
Yes.
It's because you're using Universal Standard Time, whatever
Did
that
I say
is.
14th?
You did say 14th, but that's okay.
15th. I have 15th here.
Good. All right. Then we're
Yeah.
crisis averted.
Don't worry about it. Nope. June 15th, 4:30. They Came From Beyond the Grave.
Awesome. Definitely be checking that out. All right, folks. I'm Travis, he, they. When I'm not running games, I'm writing them. I will once again implore you to, if you've not yet done so, head over to BackerKit, pick up The World Below on pre-order. And then while you're over at BackerKit, stop by at the gates and pre-order that too. We have about 7 days left in the active campaign. The active campaign helps hit stretch goals and helps you get access to stretch goals. These are some of these stretch goals you won't have access to in the pre-orders phase. So definitely get on, or you'll have to pay extra for them. So get on board now while you can. You got a week left. Thank you all so much for being here. Thank you to my players for hanging out and for hanging out a little bit late because we were chatty. But this has been an awesome time exploring Kalm together. Again, I said this at the top of the show. I'll say it again. I have not run a Kalm before, so this is new to me. I'm very excited about it, and I think it really went well, and I'm very pleased with how things have turned out.
We couldn't all succeed on these huge dice pools.
That's true. You have
One of us had to botch.
A little failures.
We came out ahead with everything one way or the other.
Yeah.
A little failure is good. So yeah, in that note, I will get out of y'all's hair. I will see you all again next week, I think. But otherwise, we'll be back here in 2 weeks' time. Take care of yourselves and each other. Wash your hands. Get your shots.